Drifting along, singing a song under a western moon.
From Hollywood comes your all-star Western Theater, starring America's great Western singers, Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage, bringing you the music, the stories, and the spirit of the great open spaces. And now, the Riders of the Purple Sage.
Nowhere to go and nothing to do, I'm just a happy roving cowboy. Let me ride that long trail down to the end where the skies are always blue. Hear my song as I ride along, I'm just a happy roving cowboy. Herding the dark clouds out of the sky, keeping the heavens blue. I ain't got a dime to spend in my time, I'm just a happy roving cowboy. Let me sing my song till they call me home to the land beyond the blue. Hear my song as I ride along, I'm just a happy roving cowboy. Herding the dark clouds out of the sky, keeping the heavens blue.
Thank you, friends. During the past few years, Americans have come to realize the full worth of our folk music as a literature that helps us understand the old days and is real fun. We, the Riders of the Purple Sage, sang one of the most popular of all folk songs in the Republic picture, Under Colorado Skies. And we'd like to do it for you again now. The Blue-tailed Fly. Hal Slowe, if you'll lead off, the rest of us will join in on the chorus.
When I was young, I used to wait on Massa and hand him the plate. Pass down the bottle when he got dry,
and brush away the blue-tailed fly. Jim Crack Corn, I don't care. Jim Crack Corn, I don't care. Jim Crack Corn, I don't care. Oh, Massa's gone away.
One day he rode around the farm, the flies so numerous they did swarm. One chance to bite him on the thigh.
The devil take the blue-tailed fly. Jim Crack Corn, I don't care. Jim Crack Corn, I don't care. Jim Crack Corn, I don't care. Oh, Massa's gone away.
The pony run, he'd jump and pitch, and tumbled Massa in the ditch. He died, and the jury wondered why.
The verdict was the blue-tailed fly. Jim Crack Corn, I don't care. Jim Crack Corn, I don't care. Jim Crack Corn, I don't care. Oh, Massa's gone away.
The Riders of the Purple Sage sing Going Down the Road Feeling Good.
That's bad, Bob.
What?
I said that's bad.
Listen, you hombre, what right have you got to talk? Pick up your string shoebox and strum the tune, but don't criticize my announcing.
Oh, I'm not criticizing your announcing, Bob. I just said he was bad. The song is bad.
Then what are you singing it for?
Well, the song isn't bad.
Yeah, but you just said it was.
Hey, listen, Mr. Abbott and Mr. Costello, there ain't time to make a long routine out of this. The title of the song is Going Down the Road Feeling Good.
That's what I said.
I mean bad. Going down the road feeling bad.
Good.
Bad.
That's what I said.
Who's talking to you?
Hey, grab a guitar, somebody. Get some new Holtz on and let's start. A thing like this could use up all the time we got for commercials.
Going down the road feeling bad. Going down the road feeling bad. Going down the road feeling bad, bad, bad. Ain't gonna be treated this away. $2 shoes hurt my feet. $2 shoes hurt my feet. These $2 shoes hurt my feet, feet, feet. Ain't gonna be treated this away. Going down the road feeling bad. Going down the road feeling bad. Going down the road feeling bad, bad, bad. Ain't gonna be treated this away. Fed me on cornbread and beans. Fed me on cornbread and beans. Fed me on cornbread and beans, beans, beans. Ain't gonna be treated this away. Going down the road feeling bad. Going down the road feeling bad. Going down the road feeling bad, bad, bad. Ain't gonna be treated this away.
Now the melodious semi-classical number we all know and love so well, Cool Waters.
All day I've faced a barren waste without the taste of water.
Cool water. Old Ann and I, with throats burned dry and souls that cry for water. Cool water, clear water. Keep a moving, Dan, don't you listen to him, Dan. He's a devil, not a man, and he spreads the burning sand with water. Dan, can you see that big green tree where the water's running free and it's waiting there for you and me?
The nights are cool and I'm a fool. Each star's a pool of water.
Cool water. But with the dawn I'll wake and yawn and carry on to water. Cool water, clear water. Keep a moving, Dan, don't you listen to him, Dan. He's a devil, not a man, and he spreads the burning sand with water. Dan, can you see that big green tree where the water's running free and it's waiting there for you and me?
The shadows sway and seem to say, tonight we pray for water.
Cool water. And way up there he'll hear our prayer and show us where there's water. Cool water, clear water. Keep a moving, Dan, don't you listen to him, Dan. He's a devil, not a man, and he spreads the burning sand with water. Dan, can you see that big green tree where the water's running free and it's waiting there for you and me? Cool, clear
Well, it's time now for Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage to tell us another of their adventures in the West. This week they called their story The Banker's Prisoner. All was serenity and peace in Saugeen County a few weeks ago. Cattle grazed contentedly on grass turned green by recent rain. Ranch hands idled lazily about the corrals. Even smoke coming from chimneys of cookhouse stoves seemed to be in a state of indolence as it floated skyward. And the arrival from Boston of Langley Schuster caused hardly a stir. Now, that in itself was surprising, for when an Eastern owner visits his ranch, the visit is usually preceded by feverish activity. But all this was a few weeks ago. Now those three vagabonds, the Riders of the Purple Sage, enter Saugeen County carefree, lighthearted, unmindful that the day might not continue as either calm or uneventful.
Johnny, hustle up. What are you doing back there? Right up here alongside Al and me. Johnny?
He don't hear a word you say, boy.
Oh, what's ailing that guy today?
Something is. He's been acting odd since dawn. When I rolled out of my bunk, there was Johnny sitting out under a tree, paring his nails and mumbling, "The lights will all go out for me. The lights will all go out for me."
Hey, boy, Al, wait.
Well, let's get going, Johnny.
Take a look. See how he's pared his nails down?
Yeah.
Boy, do you know any ranch I could get to be the owner of?
You want to be the owner of a ranch?
Well, I reckon you can buy any ranch in the county if you got money enough, Johnny.
I mean, how can I get one without money?
Yeah, loco as a blue-eyed catamount.
You see, I've got to own a ranch by tonight. I've just got to.
Johnny, you've been shooting off your big mouth again, haven't you? And to a girl.
Yeah, her name is Peggy. She's as pretty as a Pinot yearling.
Love, same thing as being loco.
All right, come on. Let's have it. You made out you were a big shot. You told the girl you owned a ranch.
Uh-huh, the Circle 3.
Why, the Circle 3 belongs to that banker from Boston. What's his name? Mr. Schuster.
Boy, I couldn't help myself. Oh, the moon was hitting Peggy's face crosswise. I lost my head. I began to talk without thinking. And when I told her I owned the Circle 3, I didn't have any idea she was a rich heiress.
Nah, bunk.
She owns a 40,000-acre ranch in Montana, boy, and she's down here to buy cattle to stock the place with.
Wait a minute.
I know, boy. I know what Johnny's done. He got carried away and sold the gal all the cattle on the Circle 3 ranch.
Johnny,
Well, she persuaded me I ought to, boy.
Yeah.
Besides, she's paying me more than market price.
But you don't own those cattle. Why, they belong to this banker from Boston.
Yeah, Mr. Schuster. And Mr. Schuster's out here making an inspection of the ranch right now.
Peggy's going to bring me a check tonight when we have our date. And our men are supposed to load the cattle right afterwards.
Let's rope him time, boy. If he accepts that check, he'll land in jail, sure.
You can't rope me. I've got a date tonight. If I don't keep it, Peggy may never give me another. Oh, Peggy is...
Al,
Huh?
look at the crowd down there on Main Street.
Hey, something's up.
Must be trouble.
Right on ahead if you want to, boy. I'll stay here and see that our loco sidekick don't get into any more bad business deals.
Peggy and I made a date to meet at...
We'll all ride ahead.
Yeah,
Johnny
first
needs
time I
something
get a
to keep
date.
him out of mischief. Come on, let's find out what all this ruckus is about.
Here comes Foy Willing and his men. We'll get some satisfaction now.
Appears to be big trouble.
Yeah, sure does.
I have to keep my date with Peggy.
Hey, you fellows are just the men we're looking for.
Looks like you're having a little excitement, Mr. Grover.
We're having too much excitement, Foy. Most of us around here have been swindled by the neatest little confidence game you ever seen.
You know who's doing it?
Sure we know. It's a fella and a gal. We looked them up in the sheriff's file, saw the pictures. But the sheriff says he can't do a thing because we ain't got the kind of evidence that'll stand up in court.
What's the racket they're working?
Well, you see, the gal's name, at least the name she gives, is Peggy Gladstone.
Peggy Gladstone, I know...
According to the sheriff's file, she's Peggy Winters, alias Persuading Peggy. She's the wife of the man who works with her.
Wife? Peggy's married?
His name is Fred Winters, alias Forgin' Freddy.
I've been deceived.
The woman goes to the different ranches, you see, claiming to be an heiress from Montana, down here to buy cattle to stock her place with.
I think I'm getting sick.
Most of the boys didn't want to sell at first, but she sort of got away with her. She wasn't given the name Persuading Peggy for nothing.
Oh, I feel weak, Al.
You see, they agreed to sell. Then along about sundown, she brings the man in, claims he's her attorney, and he signs a check for the cattle. Then they and some other fellas take the cattle away in trucks the very same night. All right, the next morning, when we go to deposit the check in the bank, there's not a blessed word written on it. The ink is faded until there isn't a sign of any writing.
Grover, I'm glad you told me about this. And I'm mighty glad you told me right now.
Yeah? You think you can help us?
If you'll follow my lead until tomorrow morning, we'll have both Forging Freddy and Persuading Peggy locked in the county jail. Come on, Al, Johnny, we got work to do.
Married? My Peggy is... I just don't believe it.
Older boys, let's have a little confab before we go in and talk to Mr. Schuster.
How could such a wonderful gal marry a varmint named Forgin' Freddy?
Johnny, straighten out and wake up.
He's taking this awful hard for it.
We're going in and lay a plan before Mr. Schuster. If he'll cooperate, we'll get these crooks fast.
Well, ain't there some way to do it without letting Mr. Schuster in on the plan? You know how them Easterners are. Always get balled up.
Well, if we don't tell him what we're going to do, Al, we'll run the risk of getting shot.
And the pretty thing she said to me last night.
Johnny, now here's your job. Keep that date with Peggy this evening.
My heart won't be in it now, Floyd.
Nevertheless, keep the date. And let her buy Mr. Schuster's cattle. Take a check from her or from her husband, whichever offers it to you.
I hate her husband.
Look at the crowd down there on Main Street.
Hey, something's up.
Must be trouble.
Right on ahead if you want to, Foy. I'll stay here and see that our loco sidekick don't get into any more bad business deals.
Peggy and I made a date to meet at...
We'll all ride ahead.
Yeah,
Johnny
first
needs
time I
something
get a
to keep
date
him out of
with
mischief. Come on, let's find out what all this ruckus is about.
Here comes Boy Willing and his men. We'll get some satisfaction now.
Appears to be big trouble.
Yeah, sure does.
I have to keep my date with Peggy.
Hey, you fellas are just the men we're looking for.
Looks like you're having a little excitement, Mr. Grover.
We're having too much excitement, boy. Most of us around here have been swindled by the neatest little confidence game you ever seen.
You know who's doing it?
Sure we know. It's a fella and a gal. We looked them up in the sheriff's file, saw the pictures. But the sheriff says he can't do a thing because we ain't got the kind of evidence that'll stand up in court.
What's the racket they're working?
Well, you see, the gal's name, at least the name she gives, is Peggy Gladstone.
Peggy Gladstone? I know...
According to the sheriff's file, she's Peggy Winters, alias Persuadin' Peggy. She's the wife of the man who works with her.
Wife? Peggy's married?
His name is Fred Winters, alias Forgin' Freddy.
I've been deceived.
The woman goes to the different ranches, you see, claiming to be an heiress from Montana, down here to buy cattle to stock her place with.
I think I'm getting sick.
Most of the boys didn't want to sell at first, but she sort of got away with her. She wasn't given the name Persuadin' Peggy for nothing.
Oh, I feel weak, Al.
You see, they agreed to sell. Then, along about sundown, she brings the man in, claims he's her attorney, and he signs a check for the cattle. Then they and some other fellas take the cattle away in trucks the very same night. All right, the next morning, when we go to deposit the check in the bank, there's not a blessed word written on it. The ink is faded until there isn't a sign of any writing.
Grover, I'm glad you told me about this. And I'm mighty glad you told me right now.
Yeah? You think you can help us?
If you'll follow my lead until tomorrow morning, we'll have both Forgin' Freddy and Persuadin' Peggy locked in the county jail. Come on, Al, Johnny, we got work to do.
Married? My Peggy is... I just don't believe it.
Hold her, boys. Let's have a little confab before we go in and talk to Mr. Schuster.
How could such a wonderful gal marry a varmint named Forgin' Freddy?
Johnny, straighten out and wake up.
He's taking this awful hard for it.
We're going in and lay a plan before Mr. Schuster. If he'll cooperate, we'll get these crooks fast.
Well, ain't there some way to do it without letting Mr. Schuster in on the plan? You know how them Easterners are. Always get balled up.
Well, if we don't tell him what we're going to do, Al, we'll run the risk of getting shot.
And the pretty thing she said to me last night.
Johnny, now here's your job. Keep that date with Peggy this evening.
My heart won't be in it now, Floyd.
Nevertheless, keep the date. And let her buy Mr. Schuster's cattle. Take a check from her or from her husband, whichever offers it to you.
I hate her husband.
Afterwards, stick with him until we get there. We'll be at the Circle 3, waiting for the men to take Schuster's cattle.
Yeah, but the sheriff says the evidence is...
We'll have all the evidence the sheriff needs, Al. If they deny writing the check, as they've done in the past, then we'll get them on a charge of stealing cattle. And that's something they can't deny because we'll have caught them in the act.
Peggy done me wrong.
If we get Schuster's cooperation, that's all we need. And I think we'll get it as soon as we tell him what racket these crooks are working.
Crooks near my ranch. Good thing I arrived when I did.
Yes, it is, Mr. Schuster. We'll need your help running them down.
Disgraceful, that's what. Leader of the band is named Foy Willing, you say?
No. My name's Boy Willing.
It is? Well, quite a coincidence. Small world, huh?
Old fuddy-duddy.
Oh, this has been a terrible day.
The leader's name is Forgin' Freddy Winters. His wife works with him. Calls herself Peggy Gladstone.
Always liked the name Peggy. My maternal grandmother had a cousin, Peggy. Lived in Boston, same as I do. Good town. Wonderful seafood. Never liked the stuff myself, though.
Well, Mr. Schuster...
Tastes too much like fish.
Well, Mr. Schuster, these crooks are...
Crooks? Oh, yes. Well, young man, what have you got to say for yourself?
Us?
Speak up, you rascals. We've got you dead to rights.
Oh, Foy, why don't you hit him on the head?
Why, these men are with me, Mr. Schuster. Al Slowey and Johnny Paul.
Oh, Al Slowey, huh? Nice-looking young fellow.
These crooks are a man and wife. They buy cattle at higher than market prices, pay by check, and move the stock out immediately. When the rancher takes the check to his bank, he finds the ink is faded out.
Gracious, that's no way to conduct business.
Now, here's how you can cooperate. Let us pretend to sell your cattle to them, and when they come here to take the cattle away, we'll nab them on charges of rustling.
Rustling. Splendid. Lead the way. By Jove, Foy Willing will get 20 years for this, so my name's not Al Slowey.
Johnny, go and keep your date now. Remember, a lot depends on you. Get the check, then stick with her. Don't let her get away. We want her behind the bars, too.
Oh, it seems like a shame.
Never mind that. You just stick with her. And whatever you do, don't bring her to the ranch. We've got to keep her and Forge and Freddie apart until after they've been questioned. Come on, Al. We're to meet Grover and the townspeople out at the Circle 3. Ride along, Johnny, and don't slip up on this.
You're just about the most romantic man I've ever seen, Johnny.
Gee.
And so intellectual. Intellectual means you've got brains, Johnny.
Gee.
But romantic intellectual men are the ones a girl always has to watch out for. They're dangerous.
Peggy, you're not married, are you?
If I were, do you think I'd dare go out with a dangerous man?
Well.
It only leads to trouble. Oh, I hope you won't take it like an insult, Johnny. But a girl does have to watch herself when she's dealing with a man like you. You see, I don't even know for sure that you do own the Circle 3 ranch and the cattle. If you take me over there, then I would be sure. And I wouldn't worry about buying cattle somebody else might own and maybe getting arrested for. Will you take me to your ranch, Johnny? I'll give you the check first, just to show I really do trust you, and that I'm only asking to go as a compliment to my business sense.
Well, gee.
Here's the check, Johnny.
Oh, gee.
Oh, come on, Johnny, please.
Gee. Oh, gee. All right, Peggy. Oh, gee.
If you own the ranch, Johnny, why are you knocking at the door?
My uncle is here. He's visiting me. He might be asleep. I wouldn't want to wake my uncle up.
Well, Gracious, you here again?
Howdy, Uncle Langley.
What's that? Uncle Langley?
This is Peggy. You know, remember? I told you about Peggy.
Hello.
Oh, yes. Yes, do come in. Can't understand this uncle business.
I just wanted Johnny to show me the house. I'm so interested in houses.
Will you show Peggy around, Uncle Langley, while I go out and see if everything's all right at the corrals?
There's that uncle again. Can't understand it. Child of my brother or sister?
Will you, Uncle Langley?
Yes, to be sure. Never had a brother, only one sister.
I'll be back in a minute.
Young man, are you my sister Lavinia's boy?
Huh? Oh, sure, Uncle Langley.
That's strange. Lavinia always told me she was an old maid. Gracious, a girl. Who are you?
Peggy, don't you remember?
Boy.
Johnny?
She's here. I had to bring her.
You brought persuading Peggy here after all I told you? What?
Well, she persuaded me.
Oh, all right. Al, we'd better go on in and take care of ourselves, or she'll get worse.
Hey, wait a minute.
They come for the cattle.
Oh, Peggy told me about
Johnny,
it.
go on in. Have Mr. Schuster keep Peggy his prisoner until we get back. Then you join Al and me. We'll be helping Mr. Grover and his men get those crooks. They're getting away. Al, find the telephone. Phone 5 corners. Have a barricade set up.
Right.
Mr. Grover and I will get the men to close in on them from this direction. A barricade at 5 corners will bring them to a halt.
Boy, I told Mr. Schuster to take Peggy prisoner. And he said he would.
Stick with us, Johnny. There's still plenty of work to do. The boys, and I'll ride back and get the girl, Mr. Grover. If you and your men want to take these fellas down to the sheriff.
You bet we want to take them to see the sheriff.
Better keep them covered all the way to town.
Yeah, we'll tie their hands and keep them covered. And thanks a lot for your help, boys. We'd have never got them if it hadn't been for you.
Glad to help, Mr. Grover. And within a couple of hours, you'll have the girl to add to your collection of crooks.
Gee, to think a romance has to end by me helping to put Peggy in jail.
Glad to see you chaps again. Come right in.
Thanks, Mr. Schuster.
Old fuddy-duddy.
See, you already know my nephew.
Your nephew?
He means me.
My sister's boy. She's ashamed of him, I guess. Never mentioned in her letters that she had a child.
Mr. Schuster, we've come to get persuading Peggy.
You don't say.
Well, she's here, ain't she? The girl Johnny brought, remember?
Oh, yes, the cute one.
Oh, how will I ever face her?
No, she's gone.
Gone? Why, we told you to hold her a prisoner.
Had a previous engagement, she said. Gave me her address, though. Told me to get in touch with her real soon.
Ain't he a mess?
Oh, yes. Told me a formula, too. Disappearing ink. Write with this ink and the writing disappears completely. Thought I'd have fun with the boys at my bank in Boston when I go back.
I'm sort of relieved Peggy got away.
Let me show you. She wrote the formula down. Delightful girl, Peggy. Paid her $250 for the formula.
What are we going to do now, boy?
Oh, I reckon Forgin Freddy will implicate Peggy when he confesses.
Now, here's the paper she wrote the formula. What? Paper's blank, completely blank. Address is gone, too. Both written on this same piece of paper. They've disappeared. Look. What do you know about that? Good thing I made out her check with that same ink. Or did I?
No performance of All-Star Western Theater would be complete without the playing and singing of a Western number from our file of songs that carry on the tradition and spirit of the great open spaces. This week, a comparatively new song, but already a favorite. When the White Roses Bloom in Red River Valley.
When the white roses bloom down in Red River Valley, I'll be riding down the Sunset Trail to you. 'Neath the pale yellow moon down in Red River Valley, we will meet and plan a rainbow ranch for two.
Goodbye, my darling.
One kiss before I go. Remember, I love you, and I want you to know. When the white roses bloom down in Red River Valley, I'll come back and make your every dream come true.
Goodbye, my darling.
One kiss before I go. Remember, I love you, and I want you to know. When the white roses bloom down in Red River Valley,
make your every come true.
Well, that's about it for this time, friends. Before we go, we'd like to thank our actors for their help in telling this week's story. Bill Boucher, Herb Butterfield, and Daphne Drake. This is Foy Willing speaking for Al Sloy, Scotty Harrell, Johnny Paul, the Riders of the Purple Sage, saying so long and good luck to all of you.
From Hollywood, you've heard your all-star Western Theater, a V.M. Bearer production starring America's great Western singers Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage. The script was by Ray Wilson and direction by Tom Hargis. This is Bob Green speaking.
The bakers of Weber's Bread present your all-star Western Theater.
Drifting along, singing a song under a western moon.
From Hollywood comes your all-star Western Theater, starring America's great Western singers Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage, bringing you music, the stories, and the spirit of the great open spaces. And now, the Riders of the Purple Sage.
I'm a long way from home and the Blue Mountain Dome. Still I hear the echoes from the hills and their sweet Lily Bell, my little hillbilly gal, calling in the echoes from the hills. When I left my pappy said, now don't do nothing wrong. I recall my mammy saying, sonny, don't be lone. So I know that someday I'll be wending my way back among the echoes from the hills.
Sometimes I wonder why I have to roam. Somehow my thoughts are traveling way back home. I miss the hills, the old folks, and my little sister Lou. I wonder if they miss me too.
I'm a long way from home and that Blue Mountain Dome. Still I hear the echoes from the hills and their sweet Lily Bell, my little hillbilly gal, calling in the echoes from the hills. When I left my pappy said, now don't do nothing wrong. I recall my mammy saying, sonny, don't be lone. So I know that someday I'll be wending my way back among the echoes from the hills.
The fashion these days is to sneer at anything that's sentimental, to laugh at any expression that might indicate a tender heart. Well, we Westerners, we don't go along with such a fashion. And we know that many of you are with us, too. So we'll continue to find more sentimental ballads in our music than marching songs. Here's one right now, and we'd like to sing it for you. We hope you like it. Remember Me.
The sweetest songs belong to lovers in the gloaming. The sweetest days are the days that used to be. The saddest words I ever heard were words of parting. When you said, sweetheart, remember me. Remember me when the candlelights are gleaming. Remember me at the close of a long, long day. It would be so sweet when all alone I'm dreaming, just to know you still remember me. You told me once that you were mine alone forever, and I was yours till the end of eternity. But all those vows are broken now, and we will never be the same except in memory. Remember me when the candlelights are gleaming. Remember me at the close of a long, long day. It would be so sweet when all alone I'm dreaming, just to know you still remember me.
The cowpuncher led a hard life in the old days. He was apt to be in the saddle from dawn to dusk, and even his routine duties were usually the toughest kind of assignments, calling for the utmost of concentration and skill. The cowboy's hardiness and self-reliance were important factors in the winning of the West. Today, famous Weber's bread is so good and its quality is so consistent that it has become the choice of more Southern California homes than any other bread. Furthermore, Weber's bread is always soft and fresh, and its freshness lasts. Look for the loaf in the blue and white checked gingham wrapper at your neighborhood grocer's. It's the good loaf, the Weber's loaf.
The Riders of the Purple Sage and an old-fashioned folk song about what must have been a dear old gal, Nellie Bly.
Yeah, but she's not going to be a dear old gal when we get through with her. She'll be from Dixie.
You mean we're going to swing out with Nellie Bly?
We sure ain't going to let her do a minuet all the way.
Wait a minute, boys. Let's have some respect for age.
Nellie Bly, bring the broom along. We'll sweep the kitchen clean, my dear, and have a little song.
Hi, Nellie, ho, Nellie, listen, love to me. Sing for you, play for you, the dulcet melody.
Nellie Bly has a voice like a turtle dove. Hears it in the meadow, and I hear it in the grove.
Hi, Nellie, ho, Nellie, listen, love to me. Sing for you, play for you, the dulcet melody.
Nellie Bly has a heart warm as a cup of tea, bigger than the sweet potato down in Tennessee.
Hi, Nellie, ho, Nellie, listen, love to me. Sing for you, play for you, the dulcet melody. Hi, Nellie, ho, Nellie, listen, love to me. Sing for you, play for you, the dulcet melody, dulcet melody.
Here's a description in music of a great and beautiful state, Oregon, as the Riders of the Purple Sage sang it in the Republic picture, Oregon Trail.
Oregon, 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 Oregon. I'm on my way, I'm heading west, I'll never stop to rest. I'll make Oregon my home. Oregon, where the timber hits the sky. Oregon, there'll be room for you and I, where the mountain streams keep a-tumbling, the dawn, the morning dew. I'm on my way, I'm heading west, I'll never stop to rest till there's Oregon in view. The rolling hills of Oregon, the fields of golden grain, the plains I love to dwell upon, the sunshine and the rain. Oregon, once I'm there, I'll never roam. I'm on my way, I'm heading west, I'll never stop to rest. I'll make Oregon my home.
Well, it's time now for Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage to tell us another of their adventures in the West. This week, they've called their story Young Love and Manana Joe. The trail a cowboy travels is often dusty. His life is lonely. Sometimes he finds himself suffering thirst, sometimes freezing cold. Yet no hero of fiction was ever a figure of greater romance than the American cowboy. Perhaps that's because there are adventurers in the West who seem to be first on the side of law, then on the side of crime, and one can never be quite certain which. Manana Joe is one of them. Polite, smiling, and dangerous, he is feared, hunted, accused, yet trusted by those who know him best. The Riders of the Purple Sage never receive a message from Manana Joe that they don't answer without question, no matter what the circumstance.
See him yet, boy?
Not yet.
Easy, guy. You don't see Al. Manana Joe just comes up out of nowhere and speaks to you.
We better stop here. The message said he'd wait by these boulders.
Hey, this sort of thing gives me the willies. When Manana Joe sends for you, you never know whether the sheriff or a band of outlaws are on his trail.
You wrong me, amigo.
Manana,
Oh, hello.
Your eyes are not good, huh?
Where in the world were you, Joe?
When the hunter is after a squirrel, the squirrel lies flat on the branch of a tree or on a rock and cannot be seen. I learned from him.
You mean you were up in one of those rocks?
What sort of hunters are after you, Joe?
Amateurs, I think. A ponderous sheriff and 6 ancient patriarchs who do him honor as deputies despite their rheumatism.
This is no place for us, boy.
Why is the sheriff after you?
Last week, a messenger bringing the payroll to Benson's feedlot was held up. But let us not discuss it.
Wait a minute. The sheriff's after you for that robbery.
See?
Why?
He thinks I did it. The messenger recognized the hold-up man's gun. It was one of mine.
Did you do it, Joe?
No. The gun was stolen from me.
Then why not go and prove the sheriff's wrong?
Because proof would involve confessing where I was at the hour of the robbery. And at that hour, I was singing a love song under the window of the sheriff's plump wife.
Ain't he a hound?
Only because I am a philanthropist, no other reason. I saw the squareness of the sheriff's head, the flatness of his feet. A wife of his could die without even knowing there is romance in the world. I sang a song to her. Now her spirit will be young and lovely whenever she remembers.
Joe, you're either a reprobate or a saint. I don't know which.
Me neither.
I wish I could make women young by singing.
Let's get back to this payroll robbery, Joe. You know, the sheriff...
Senor Neil Birch and his band stole the payroll, but why do we talk of such things? There is no love or poetry in them. Senores, love belongs to the very young. In them, when they are in love, one sees a bit of heaven.
Watch him, boy. He's leading up to something.
6 nights ago, the sheriff was on my trail. Oh, very close. And I found myself at the Circle T Ranch. You know where that is?
Yeah.
Then you know the small grove of trees near the house where I was hidden and was waiting in the darkness when the sheriff came up. I drew my guns. I intended to shoot before I was discovered. And at that moment, the door of the ranch house opened. In the light that shone through stood a girl. She called to the sheriff. She denied anyone had come, and the sheriff believed her. He went away. Then, senores, it was a moment that will live forever with me. The girl came over to where I was and whispered, "You are safe now, Manana Joe." I leaned down in the saddle, kissed her softly on the cheek in gratefulness.
Don't he have the darndest way with gals?
Oh, it's just luck, that's all.
And every evening since, I have visited the grove of trees, and always there is food waiting.
She must be looking out for you, Joe.
Maybe she's fallen in love with you.
It is tragedy. Last week, she was engaged to marry a boy of her own kind. This week, she will not even let him call.
Yeah? Well, that's too bad, Joe.
Amigos, be philanthropists, huh? Take this bundle. Clothes of mine are in it. Give it to the boy, her sweetheart. Tell him to put them on and ride to the grove of trees. Tell him to wait until the girl comes out with food and to kiss her on the cheek softly when he sees her. Tell him to say that all these evenings it has been he, not Manana Joe, who waited for her. They will cry a little, but they will fall in each other's arms. And so it should be.
Well...
It is a small thing to do. Here, the bundle of clothes. Will you take it to him?
Sure, Joe, we'll be glad to.
Yeah,
gracias. Their children will hold your memory in reverence. And you had better go soon before the sheriff and his patriarchs find you here talking with an outlaw.
Hold it, Al. Johnny.
What's the matter, boy?
Don't let anybody see you, but take a look there. Through the saloon window.
Hey, that's fellows playing cards, you mean?
The hombres with all the money in front of them are Neil Birch's men. And according to Manana Joe, they pull the payroll stick up. The kid with him is the boy we're looking for, young Jim Douglas.
Well, how come Neil Birch and his men are wearing glasses? No wonder I didn't recognize them.
Maybe their eyesight is bad. That could be the reason they're wearing glasses.
They're cleaning the kid.
It sure looks like it. Not much money in his pile.
He probably took up with him because he's disgusted. Decided to be a tough guy to show the gal he didn't care.
Yeah, now real tough guys are taking him for every cent he's got.
Hey, Manana Joe must have been telling the truth about the holdup. Take a look in Neil's holster.
Hey, one of Joe's guns, sure enough. Hey, what'll we do, go in and bust up the game for him?
I think we'll wait right here until the kid comes out. Let's find out for sure if they've cleaned him. There'll be plenty of time for us to go to work after that. He's coming out.
Sure looks beat down, don't he?
Well, how would you look if some other guy kissed your gal on the cheek?
Watch it, boys. Howdy, Jim.
What do you want?
Guess maybe you don't know us, Jim. I'm Foy Wilson.
I don't want to know you. I don't want to know anybody.
Sounds as if you had bad luck in there. Neil Birch and his men get your money?
That's none of your business. I'll do as I please with my money.
What are you bothering that kid for, Willing?
Oh, howdy, Neil.
I asked you what you want with that kid.
Well, I don't reckon there's any law saying a man can't talk to who he pleases.
There's this kind of law.
I'd leave the gun right where it is, Neil. In the holster. That gun can get you into a lot of trouble.
What do you mean?
Why so ornery with me, Neil? I know Jim lost money in the game. I was just about to lend him enough so he can go back and try to get even.
Is that right, Jim?
Well, would you lend me some? Would you really?
Why not?
Well, where in the world would we get money for it?
Suppose you be ready to pick up the game again in about 2 hours, Neil. That'll give me time to ride over and get a steak for the kid.
Suits me fine.
And we may join you, just to see that there's no cheating.
The more of you, the better we'll like it. But the game will be played in my room at the hotel, not here.
We'll be there.
And remember, my boys will take care of any trouble you fellas care to start.
You sure got us in a mess now, Foy.
Oh, even if we had money, I wouldn't want to play cards with him.
Boys, we're riding back to see Manana Joe. And Jim, you're riding back with us.
Manana Joe? You know Manana Joe?
You bet we do. And he's got something to say to you, Jim. I think we ought to give him a chance to say it in person.
I should beat you within an inch of your life treating an innocent girl that way, Manana Joe. And I'd do it, too, except that...
Except that I am the toughest hombre in the country, huh?
No. Except Betty isn't worth the trouble. She's no good.
Wait now, Senor Jim. That is not nice talk. Betty is a lovely cloud of springtime.
She's weak. She's romantic. She lives in a dream world half the time.
But so do all women. Ah, Senor, you are very young not to know that.
I am not young.
Amigo, look at us. At Foy, at Al, Johnny. Look at me. Could a woman choose one of us as a mate for all her life were she not able to weave dreams about us? Picture us as much more than we are.
Well, just the
You
same.
do as I say, Jim. Put on these clothes of mine. Wait for your Betty at the grove of trees after sundown. She will be a little angry when you confess it has been you, not a dangerous outlaw she visited each night. Ah, but she will be yours again. And that is the important thing.
Joe, about the card game.
Oh, see, the game. Senor Neil and his men are failing in their eyesight, you say?
Well, not the way they're picking up Jim's money, they're not.
I said they were wearing glasses, Joe.
Well, glasses mean failing eyesight, no? Al, I think I'm going to give you and Johnny a big bag of money.
Huh?
Why not? I have plenty hidden nearby. You boys and Jim go back and play cards with those hombres.
Well, sure.
And please, do not lose all the money I give you for at least 2 hours. The game must last that long.
How about me, Joe?
Yeah, Foy can lose money as fast as us.
Yeah.
I would like you to remain here for a while, Foy. Cards are bad for you. Also, I need you to help me do something a little special. It will be good fun. And it will even have a little danger in it.
What's the idea of asking me to stay here, Joe? I ought to be in town helping Al and Johnny get the kids' money back.
They will not get the money back. No, not as long as Senor Neil and his men wear those glasses. The cards are marked. The marks cannot be seen by the naked eye. Only with the glasses. Special glasses.
So that's it.
I'm afraid the lenses will have to be smashed before the game is on the level.
That's our job. Crash the game, then accidentally break the glasses.
That is a job I do. Alone.
But you can't go into town, Joe. Neil Birch has your gun. He'll think you came for it. He'll kill you on sight. And the sheriff's looking for you, too.
I will avoid the sheriff.
Let me crash the game. Al and Johnny are there, and I can depend on them to help.
No, boy. I can do that. But there is something I cannot do, and you can't. You must ride over and visit with Betty.
Well, I thought that matter was all taken care of, Jim.
Senor, Are you very young, too? When Jim confesses, Betty will think he has been making a fool of her. And the woman must always be made to believe she has put something over on the man. You write to see Betty. Tell her Jim tried to make her love him more by pretending to be a dangerous outlaw.
That might do it.
Mm-hmm. Then when Jim confesses, she will be able to say, oh, she knew all the time it was he who kissed her on the cheek. She will scold him, she will call him stupid, but she will... senor. If youth only had the knowledge of age, or age had the ability of youth, what love would be.
All right, Joe. I'll do it.
And me, while you are aiding romance, I will be stomping on eyeglasses worn by crooks.
Just be careful. The sheriff...
Meet me in exactly 1 hour and 45 minutes. Meet me at the entrance to the hotel, so you can escort me away as I leave. And please, be ready with your guns. We may have to shoot somebody, boy.
I'll see your cards.
Pair of tens and pair of jacks.
4 queens.
Doggone, this is getting disgusted.
Your deal, Jim.
Seems like we ought to win a hand once in a
All
while.
right, senores, reach for the sky.
Look at us, Manana Joe.
The first man to move will feel the pain of hot lead.
Manana, you can't get away with this.
You see too well. Your eyes are too good with those glasses. This will fix them. And yours, too.
Well, the sheriff will hear about this. You know the sheriff's already looking for you for that payroll.
You are shortening your life, senor. You, the young one, the kid.
Me?
And the money here. All of it. But take warning, no false moves.
What'll I do?
Give it to him, you fool. We'll get him later. So don't risk your neck now.
The guns, too. That one particularly. Gracias. Stay where you are. Do not try to follow me. I am not alone. I have men stationed outside. They will shoot if you attempt to leave the room. Boy, are you here?
Sure, Joe. Here I am.
Good. Take this money. Give it to Jim when you see him.
Money? Joe, you held him up. You weren't in there long enough to win.
Let me talk. I'm in a hurry. I did hold them up. I got the money, also the gun, which was once mine, and which was used in the payroll robbery. I'm going to put it in Neil's saddlebag. Report to the sheriff that it is there. Let the sheriff find it. Then the real robber can be arrested.
But Neil, he'll report that you held him up.
See, but he will not report that the gun was taken. Not this gun. Or he will convict himself more surely than ever.
He'll try to get you, though.
See? He will report I took the money. That is why I'm in such a hurry. I must put this gun where the sheriff will find it. Then I must get on my own horse and ride. Adios, senor. Until our trails cross again.
What are we doing here, boy?
Hush up, Johnny.
There they are, under the trees.
Yeah.
Pretty nice, huh?
Of course, I knew all the time it was you, Jim.
Now, you couldn't have, Betty.
But I did. I kept up the pretense because I wanted to see how long you'd go on.
Gee, she's putting her head on his shoulder.
Yeah.
But I'll have to scold you, too, Jim. Don't you know what you did was dangerous? Manana Joe's an outlaw. Why, the sheriff might have shot you down without a word. Oh, but you're sweet, Jim. You're awfully sweet to want to make me love you more.
Joe. He's nice, no? They are together now.
Yes, life on the range was violent and full of hardships, and only the physically and mentally strong could survive. The pioneers who developed the West worked hard and played hard. Although they didn't have many of the comforts that we consider necessary today, there's one thing they did insist on: good food. Modern Westerners insist on good food, too. That's why Weber's bread is so popular. Weber's bread is good food, good bread. We don't suppose you're interested in how Weber's bread is baked, but may we just say this: Weber's bread is good bread because everything that goes into it is the best that money can buy. Visit your neighborhood grocer. See if you don't agree that Weber's bread meets your own idea of what good bread should be.
The last song on each of our programs is a song we'd like to see recorded and handed down from generation to generation as music which catches the spirit of the real West. This week, we've chosen Song of the Sierras.
Sing a song of the Sierras. Let me dream of mountains high.
Let me hear the cattle roam and the coyote's lonely cry.
Let me hear guitars a-strumming on an old familiar tune,
while a cowboy sings his love song to a lonely western moon.
It's the nearest place to heaven, where a man is free, and I reckon I'll be living with the one who waits for me. Sing a song of the Sierras, where the mountains kiss the sky.
Let the song remind my true love that I'll see her by and by.
Sing a song of the Sierras, and I'll see her by and
Well, that's about it for now, friends. Before we go, we'd like to thank our actors for their help in telling this week's story. Paul Conrad, Tom Holland, Beverly Brown, and Harry Bartell is Manana Joe. This is Foy Willing speaking for Al Sloey, Scotty Harrell, and Johnny Paul. The Riders of the Purple Sage saying so long and good luck to all of you.
drifting along, singing a song under a western moon.
From Hollywood, you have heard your all-star Western Theater, a V.M. Bear production, starring America's great Western singers, Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage. The script was by Ray Wilson and direction by Tom Hargis. This is Bob Green speaking.
The All-Star Western Theater came to you from Columbia Square.
This is KNX in Los Angeles.
By transcription, the bakers of Weber's Bread present your All-Star Western Theater.
Drifting along, singing a song under a
Hollywood comes your all-star Western Theater, starring America's great Western singers, Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage, bringing you the music, the stories, and the spirit of the great open spaces. Now to raise the curtain, the Riders of the Purple Sage, and singing a song of the sage.
Listen to a song of the wind. Listen to a song of the rain. Listen to a song of the sagebrush calling to me again. Me and my pony are free, singing a song of the sage. We never care where we be. We never work for a wage. We live a life of pleasure here on the desert drive. We never search for a treasure we want nothing gold can buy. We lose the cares of our age, singing a song of the sage, singing a song of the sage.
Boy, it's come to my notice that this new song, Arizona in the Morning, is another that you and Sid Robin have written.
You're right, Bob. A Westerner just has to express his love for the West in one way or another. Sid and I try to do it with music, hoping we'll sell the West to somebody new and bring the spirit of the West to somebody who's away and longing for it. Arizona in the Morning is our feelings about a really great state.
Arizona in the morning, that's where heaven comes a-dawning.
Up in the sky,
Hear the west wind softly blowing, listen to the rooster crowing high. Come, my honey, where it's sunny lies such a song. See the desert painted gold,
that's the place where we belong.
and Mother Nature comes a-borning. Arizona in the morning, that's my Arizona in the morning, that's where heaven comes a-dawning.
Up in the sky,
Hear the west wind softly blowing, listen to the rooster crowing high. Come, my honey, where it's sunny lies such a song. See the desert painted gold,
that's the place where we belong.
and Mother Nature comes a-borning. Arizona in the morning,
That's my home.
You know, there's something about the West that appeals to most everyone. Maybe it's the thought of adventure. Maybe it's the carefree Western spirit. Maybe it's just the feeling of space. Anyhow, it is mighty appealing. And that's the way it is with Weber's bread. Folks like it for lots of reasons. That tender, rich flavor, for instance. The way it stays fresh longer. Its appetizing, evenly baked crust. But most folks don't try to figure it out. They just know Weber's bread tastes mighty fine, and that's what they want. Bread is important right now, you know. So it's a good idea to buy the bread your family likes and be sure to finish to the very last slice. Next time you buy bread, reach for Weber's, the good, fresh bread in the blue and white gingham wrapper.
The Riders of the Purple Sage again, and a song that has become identified with them, Holiday for the Blues.
You gotta start in a singing and you gotta shout. You gotta keep on a swinging, kick the blues right out. Don't you let it get you, you got too much to lose. It's a holiday for the blues. You gotta start in a shouting till you're feeling fine. You gotta keep on a doubting, gotta rise and shine. Keep the rafters ringing till you saddle for views. It's a holiday for the blues. The sun is out a-shining, the sky is bright and clear. It's no time to be pining, no time for having fear. Go calling on your neighbor, go out and spread the news. 'Cause it's a holiday for the blues. You gotta start in a singing and you gotta shout. You gotta keep on a swinging, kick the blues right out. Don't you let it get you, you got too much to lose. It's a holiday for the blues. You gotta start in a shouting till you're feeling fine. You gotta keep on a doubting, gotta rise and shine. Keep the rafters ringing till you saddle for views. It's a holiday for the blues. Was riding on my pinto, not a cent in my jeans. It felt like it was weeks since I'd had pork and beans. I said, let's jump in the river. My horse said I refuse. 'Cause it's a holiday for the blues. I went out to the racetrack, the horse gave me a smile, leaned over and he whispered, I'll win this by a mile. I didn't feel unhappy, though I lost my shirt and shoes. 'Cause it's a holiday for the blues. You gotta start in a singing and you gotta shout. You gotta keep on a swinging, kick the blues right out. Don't you let it get you, you got too much to lose. It's a holiday for the blues. You gotta start in a shouting till you're feeling fine. You gotta keep on a doubting, gotta rise and shine. Keep the rafters ringing till you saddle for views. It's a holiday for the blues.
Well, it's time now for Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage to tell us another of their adventures in the West. This week, they've called their story The Rabbit. Choctaw Cave, which as you well know lies in Moss Valley, has twice been a place where history was made. The first was when Indians were forced into the cave and kept there until they surrendered. The second was when Trigger Bill Weaver used it as a hideout and was captured. In both cases, those who used the caves met disaster. Thus has come a superstition that it brings bad luck. But now, in the warm sun of autumn, there seems little chance that the cave or the valley will ever again be a place of more than contentment. At least so thought the Riders of the Purple Sage as they rode lazily across the valley. No troubles of their own weighed them down, and the troubles of others seemed slight, hardly worth talking about.
Sure could have eaten half a dozen eggs for breakfast. Yeah, me too. I'd give a lot to know why everybody turned us down when we tried to buy some.
I'm kind of inclined to believe folks were telling the truth, and that somebody has been robbing the nest.
Robbing nests and not bothering to take along the chickens? That don't sound sensible.
Maybe a weasel's doing it. The kind of a weasel who knows about the high price of eggs these days, I reckon.
Hey, Wellen. Boy, Wellen.
Listen.
Wait there, Wellen. I want to see you.
Yeah, that's Sheriff Rice and a posse, ain't it?
Howdy, Sheriff.
Howdy.
Must be tracking down an egg thief, huh?
Yeah, I'm mighty glad we run into you fellas.
Yeah, howdy. You find out anything about the egg thief, Sheriff?
Egg thief? What egg thief?
For a week now, hen nests around here.
They're looking for a man who's escaped from the state insane asylum.
A loco?
Got away 10 days ago. There's every reason to believe he's headed this way.
Maybe he's stealing the eggs.
A man about 55, medium height, slightly bow-legged.
We haven't seen any strangers at all, Sheriff. Just came through the pass last night.
Well, he's dangerous. We've got to find him before an accident happens.
Well, if it'll help, we'll be glad to join you in the hunt.
Yeah, sure will.
Well, that's what I wanted to hear. Come on, boys. We'll go over this territory with a fine tooth comb. We'll either get this hombre or we'll make sure he's not in our county.
Sheriff Rice.
Hold it, men.
This way. Over to Choctaw Cave.
All right, boy. Let's go, men. Here, what'd you find, boy? You haven't got him, have you?
Well, there's footprints leading into the cave and none leading out. Figure we hadn't better pass up anything.
Only a stranger would use the cave. Nobody around here. It's bad luck.
Suppose I take Al and Johnny, Sheriff. We'll go in.
All right, don't take any chances, though. He's dangerous. Let him get past, then signal to us. We'll nab him out here.
Right.
You men surround the entrance. Have your guns ready, but don't use them unless I give the word.
Al, Johnny, let's go.
This is the first time I ever had anything to do with a loco. Personally, I hope we don't find him.
Now, no chances, boys. Let us get him out here.
We'll be all right, Sheriff. Al, you go in at the opposite wall. Johnny, we'll go in on this one.
I sure hope he ain't got a shooting iron.
Can't tell about such things. We'll just take it easy.
See anything?
Not yet. Keep moving in.
Hey, something up ahead.
Hold it, Johnny.
Hey, stay where you are. I'll go on.
Gun ready, Johnny?
Yeah.
We'll try every other way before shooting. But be ready.
Hey, boy, Johnny, come here quick.
You got him?
No, but look, eggs. Here's the eggs that's been stolen. Who cares about eggs? Hundreds of them, hundreds of eggs.
But what's happened to them?
I'll tell you what's happened. They've been dyed. Them eggs all been colored. Look, red eggs, green eggs, purple, blue.
Hey, shoot 'em.
Hey, Willen, we got him. Come on.
Let's go, boys.
Sheriff's got the loco.
Get your horses. We saw the loco run across that tight ground. Must have got out by another entrance. Come on.
I tell you, he is in this cabin, Sheriff. We saw him come in.
Yeah, but we've examined every square inch of space here.
Well, he couldn't have gotten out. Your men surrounded the cabin, and they're still surrounding
Well,
it.
he's not here, though.
You fellas continue the search. But Al and Johnny and I are going to stay right here.
All right. Now, hope you find him. Anything is better than having a desperate lunatic at large.
We'll call your office if we have any luck.
How come we're staying for it?
We saw a man come into the cabin, and we know he didn't go out.
Then he must still be here.
Al?
Huh?
Al, my boy. Is that you?
Well, where are you? I don't see you.
Just a minute.
Watch it, Al. Johnny.
Must be the loco. Well, how come a loco would know me?
Look at there. A board in the floor is raising up.
A man. A man's coming out from beneath the floor.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Them onion-eyed mavericks gone?
Yeah, they're gone.
Almost happy. But I burrowed deep under the floor and hid. Nothing like a good bird to hide out in.
Easy, Al. Take it easy.
You know who I am, don't you, Al? Well, I'll be a mossy haunted varmint with a twisted tail. You do. I'm Uncle Edgar.
Uncle Edgar?
Papa's brother. Remember?
Well, I have an Uncle Edgar, but I ain't seen him in years.
Why, I come all this way to find you, Al. Been here 10 days, more or less, trying to get in touch. Headed for your diggings as soon as I escaped from the booby hatch.
From the... Oh, he's it, all right.
What you looking like that for? You don't think I'm local, do you?
Well, to tell the truth, I don't even know if you are Uncle Edgar. I had an uncle by that name, but I lost track of him years ago.
Look at me, Al.
Easy, Al. I got my rope ready.
See anything familiar?
All I see is you wiggling your ears like a mule does.
Rabbit. Like a rabbit does. Don't the air wiggling bring back no memories to you?
Can't say that it does.
Oughta. I was famous for my wiggling ears. Why, when you was a little fella, you used to come over to my house and bolt your bait 3 meals out of 7. Never failed once to ask me to wiggle my ears. It was me that give you that flea-bitten great pony when you was sick.
Well, I remember the pony, but well, doggone it, you must be my uncle. Who else could remember them things?
No, can't blame you none. It's been a long time. All the good things happened then, before I was railroaded to the booby hatch.
Railroaded?
Oh, yes. In-laws did it right after gold was discovered on the land. You was still a little tight.
Boy, what do you think?
Well, I'm willing to take a chance.
Instead of turning your uncle over to the sheriff, I'd like to take him back to camp with us. Mister, if you're willing to spend a day or two as a sort of half prisoner...
I'll do anything, just anything for a chance.
All right. We haven't made up our minds about you, but when we do, you've got to promise that you'll abide by our decision. Whether it's to turn you over to the authorities or to fight for your freedom. That's got to be understood.
Before we bed down, I want to thank you boys for the chance you're taking.
Well, there's no hurry about bedding down, Uncle Edgar. We don't mind sitting up for a while.
I was thinking about the campfire. Sheriff might still be out.
We'll take care of you.
Yeah. Sure nice here. Wish I could have made it out in the booby hat sooner. Always had it in mind to get in touch with you, Al. Then I'd think, well, maybe Al's like all the rest of them. Nobody nowadays believes a fella can be railroaded into the booby hatch. Just can't happen, they say. But there's more than one man locked up right now who's just as sane as me. Once they get a doctor to say you ought to be put away, what chance have you got? Nobody can come near you. You can't go near anybody else. Well, a fella's just helpless.
I reckon we better take this matter to somebody high up, don't you, Ford?
To the president. We'll go right to the president. The governor of the state is the man we want to see, Johnny.
Well, let's see him then. Let's bust this thing wide open.
You go ahead and bed down if you're tired, Uncle Edgar. We'll sit up for a while and make plans for riding on into the state capitol tomorrow.
Won't do no good to go tomorrow, Foy. Tomorrow's Sunday.
Yeah, that's right, it is.
Is it Sunday? Is tomorrow Sunday?
Sure is, Uncle Edgar.
My, how time passes when you're out. Sure slow in there, though. Feel sorrier than ever for the fellows who've been railroaded. They're as sane as I am. Before I get my shut-eye, I'd like to suggest we stomp on the ground with our hind feet as signal in case anything goes wrong. This way. That'll be the signal for danger, 3 times. And to show everything's clear again, suppose we stomp our hind feet 5 times, like this. All right?
Fine, Uncle Edgar.
You agree, boys, Johnny?
Right by me.
Well, tomorrow's Sunday. Better get some shut-eye. Night.
Oh, poor fella. He sure had it tough.
Al, Johnny, I'm not going to wait even until tomorrow to do something for him. I'm going to start out right now.
Well, I'm for that.
You two stay here and watch out for him. I'm riding hard, and I'll bring help of one kind or another by morning.
Boy's taking this so hard, you'd think Uncle Edgar was his uncle. Now, Foy's an awful nice guy. Tender-hearted.
Sure is. Hey, what's Uncle Edgar doing now?
Digging a hole, looks like. Hey, Uncle Edgar, what are you doing?
Burrowing.
Burrowing?
So I'll have a nice cozy place to sleep.
You mean you sleep in a hole?
Why, sure. Nice and warm. Besides, nobody can find you if you do that. Especially if you throw twigs and grass over the top.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, Johnny, must be awful to feel people are hunting you all the time.
Sure must be. Think of it. Sleeping in a hole in the ground. Johnny, Al, wake up, you hombre.
Huh?
Is it morning already? Where's Uncle Edgar?
He's sleeping over there.
In the hole he dug. A hole? Sleeping in a hole?
Yeah, right. Wait a minute. He's gone. Johnny, something's happened to Uncle Edgar.
I'll bet he... Fine guard you are. Me riding all night long trying to...
Chief, well, we must have slept right through.
Wait a minute. Somebody's coming.
Wellen. Oh, Wellen, is that you?
Howdy, Sheriff.
Howdy. Yeah, I've got more trouble on my hands. Eggs are being stole from the ranches hereabouts.
Why, we told you that yesterday, Sheriff.
Yeah, first I heard about it was this morning. 6 Easter eggs was left in front of my door. I investigated, found the same thing had happened all over town.
Howdy, folks.
Well, what?
Why, there's Uncle Edgar.
Yeah, up kind of early.
Now, wait a minute. There's the loco. There's the loco I was looking for yesterday.
Well, hold on now, Sheriff.
Keep your hands off him.
He's been on the loose.
Take it easy, Sheriff.
You promised to protect me, boy. Now, you said
We'll protect you. Sheriff or no sheriff, if you lay a hand on my Uncle Edgar, you'll answer to me.
And me, too. There's been a little misunderstanding here, Sheriff.
Yeah, but this fellow's description tallies exactly.
Oh, I know all about that. He's the man you want. But he was railroaded into the lunatic asylum.
Oh, that's not possible. Not in this day and age.
Well, it sure happened. Gold was discovered on Uncle Edgar's ranch, and his in-laws framed him.
Are you speaking the truth, boy?
Well, figure it out for yourself, Sheriff. If some doctor could be bribed to declare a fellow insane, and a judge were to sign the commitment papers, what chance would a man have? Once he's inside, he can't communicate with authorities. They can't communicate with him unless they fight to do it.
Well, yeah, that's right.
Locked up like that almost 20 years, weren't you, Uncle Edgar?
And all because gold was found on your ranch.
Well, 'twarn't all on account of the gold.
Something else, too, Uncle Edgar?
Most folks don't want to believe in me. They swear up and down there ain't no such thing as an Easter rabbit.
What? Easter rabbit?
So they locked me up. Then, of course, I couldn't do my work.
Easter rabbit.
Them died, eh?
Now, get away from me now. Get away. This is Sunday, and I'm not finished my work.
No shooting, boys. Use the rope.
Well, I got more eggs to do.
So you can wiggle your ears, can you? And stomp on the ground with your hind feet for signal. You sleep in a burrow.
Where's the pig and string?
Pull twigs and grass over the top so you can't be seen.
I tell you, you can't do this to the Easter rabbit. It's wrong. I ain't took my eggs to all the houses yet. You can't do this to the Easter rabbit.
We sure won't ever be able to ride through this county again.
That sheriff wanted to lock us up for hiding and protecting a man who'd escaped from an insane asylum.
You can be thankful for one thing, though, Al.
Me?
Sure, that we sent a telegram and found out your Uncle Edgar is still living on his own ranch. And that this fellow's just a hombre who used to work for your uncle.
Oh, yeah, I'm thankful about that. Sure would be awful to have an Easter bunny in the family.
Well, you know, after an adventure like that, the boys aren't going to believe all they hear and very little of what they see. But there's something the boys always believe in, and that's Weber's bread. Like thousands and thousands of Southern California housewives, they know Weber's is always satisfying because the flavors are natural, just the bake-right goodness of fine ingredients. Seems like you don't have to tell the kids to eat the crust when you serve Weber's bread. Every bite is tender and flavor-rich. Remember, Weber's bread isn't just a filler-inner, it's a basic energy food, good to the last crumb. So be sure to buy Weber's, the bread in the blue and white gingham wrapper.
Now it's time for that kind of Western music which deserves to be heard over and over again, carrying on as it does the real spirit and the real traditions of the West. Today we've chosen one which does all that and more. The Riders of the Purple Sage sing Tumbling Tumbleweed.
See them tumbling down, dragging their love to the ground. Only but free I'll be found, drifting along with the tumble and tumbleweed. Cares of the past are behind, nowhere to go but I'll find, just where the trail will wind, drifting along with the tumble and tumbleweed.
I know when night is gone that a new world's born at dawn.
I'll keep rolling along, deep in my heart is a song. Here on the range I belong, drifting along with a tumble and tumbleweed.
I'll be found, drifting along with a tumble and tumbleweed. I know when night is gone that a new world's born at dawn. I'll keep rolling along. Deep in my heart is a song. Here on the range I belong, drifting along with the tumbling tumbleweed.
Well, that's about it for now, friends. We hope you'll be with us when we come drifting along next week. Before we go, we'd like to thank Horace Murphy, Tom Holland, and Joe Duvall for their good work in helping us tell our story. This is Foy Willing speaking for Al Sloey, Johnny Paul, Scotty Harrell, the Riders of the Purple Sage, saying so long and good luck to all of you.
Drifting along, singing a song under a western moon.
From Hollywood, you have heard your All-Star Western Theater, a V.M. Bear production, starring America's great Western singers, Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage. The script was by Ray Wilson and direction by Tom Hargis. This is Bob Green speaking.
The All-Star Western Theater came to you by transcription and returns next week at this same time over this same Columbia station. This program came to you from Columbia Square.
This is KNX in Los Angeles, bringing you the Vaughn Monroe Show.
The bakers of Weber's Bread present your All-Star Western Theater.
Drifting along, singing a song under a western moon.
From Hollywood comes your All-Star Western Theater, starring America's great Western singers, Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage, bringing you the music, the stories, and the spirit of the great open spaces. And now, the Riders of the Purple Sage.
Riding down to Santa Fe, just beyond the mountains and across the way. See that sun hang low in the west, o'er the land I'm loving the best. Here we go, my old pedo. Gotta see a preacher about a gal, so let's burn the trail and yonder we'll go. Riding down to Santa Fe, hey, riding down to Santa Fe. Riding down to Santa Fe, gonna see the boss and I'll collect my pay. Need $100 or more to get that ring she's been waiting for. Don't be slow, my old pedo. She'll be there waiting at the door. So let's burn the trail and yonder we'll go. Riding down to Santa Fe, hey, riding down to Santa Fe.
Thank you, friends. In the days when every deluxe motion picture theater featured an organist, and the words to the song he played were flashed on the screen for the audience to sing, certain numbers were sure to be sung with great enthusiasm. We're bringing back one of them to you now. Remember it? Among My Souvenirs.
There's nothing left for me of days
used to be. I live in memory among my souvenirs. Some letters tied with blue, a photograph or two. I see a rose from you among my souvenirs.
A few more tokens rest within my treasure chest, and though they do their best
to give me consolation, I count them all apart, and as the teardrops start, I find a broken heart among my souvenirs.
Tokens rest within my treasure chest, and though they do their best
to give me consolation, I count them all apart, and as the teardrops start, I find a broken heart among my
Yes, once again, the bakers of Weber's Bread present, for your listening pleasure, a full half hour of Western story and Western song, bringing you your favorite Western stars. It's your show of the week, courtesy of the bread that adds pleasure to mealtime. It's Weber's Bread. Fresh baked for your enjoyment with a flavored treat each time you eat. Taste it. Taste Weber's Bread with flavor that adds pleasure to mealtime. Each appetizing, fresh-crusted loaf means savory goodness for your delight. Have you tried it? Remember, Weber's always means real flavor, real pleasure. Buy it and serve it today. When you shop, look for Weber's Bread in the blue and white gingham wrapper.
The Riders of the Purple Sage and the song that brought jazz to the West. Ragtime Cowboy Joe.
He always sings raggy music to the cattle as he swings back and forward in the saddle on a horse that is syncopated, gated, and there's such a funny meter to the roar of his repeater, how they run when they hear the fellow's gun, because the Western folks all know he's a highfalutin, rootin', tootin' son of a gun from Arizona, Ragtime Cowboy Joe. Out in Arizona where the bad men are, the only thing that got you is an evening star. Roughest, toughest man by far is Ragtime Cowboy Joe. Got his name from singing to the cows and sheep. Every night they sing the herd to sleep in a bass so rich and deep. Crooning soft and low, he always sings reggae music to the cattle as he swings back and forward in the saddle on a horse that is syncopated, gated, and there's such a funny meter to the roar of his repeater, how they run when they hear the fellow's gun, because the Western folks all know he's a highfalutin, rootin', tootin' son of a gun from Arizona, Ragtime Cowboy Joe. He always sings reggae music to the cattle as he swings back and forward in the saddle on a horse that is syncopated, gated, and it's
got your funny meter to the roaring his repeater, how they run. When they hear the fella's gun, because the western folks all know. He's a highfalutin, rootin', tootin' son of a gun from Arizona, right-time Cowboy Joe. Cowboy, cowboy, ragtime Cowboy Joe.
Who is there that doesn't like a sentimental love song, one filled with sweetness and tenderness? Have I told you lately that I love you?
Have I told you lately that I love you? Could I tell you once again somehow? Have I said with all my heart and soul how I adore you? Well, darling, I'm telling you now. My world would end without a memory of you. I'm no good without you anyhow. I told you lately that I love you. Well, darling, I'm telling you now.
Time now for Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage to tell us another of their adventures in the West. This week they call their story To Settle the Account. To travel in the West is to receive an education no school can give, nor can travel in any other part of the world, be it the Sahara of Africa, the jungles of South America, or the wastes of the Arctic. In the West, the forces of nature are complete. Cold and heat, green fields and barren land, sheer precipices and meadows that are level. A man must stand in awe of them and know how well they combine to aid destiny in trapping all who deviate from the path of good. The Riders of the Purple Sage were in a mountainous region. The weather was not pleasant. It was cold and snow lay on the ground. A dark sky foretold that evil lay ahead.
Sure gloomy. I can't seem to get going. Seems like something is pressing down all around.
I don't like the feel of things either, fellas. It ain't often you know something's going to happen and not be able to put your finger on what it is.
Well, maybe it's just the weather, Foy. Maybe the dark skies are getting us down.
Yeah, maybe.
Air's quiet. Air's so quiet. We just got to have more snow.
Listen.
What's that?
Oh. Hello!
Maybe this is it, Al.
Yeah. Wonder what's up.
Well, I don't know unless somebody's lost.
We'll be lucky if that's all it is.
Look, come in there to the left. Through those pines.
Oh, yeah.
One fella, alone.
Well, it's a man who's lost his way. Can't be anything else.
Unless a convict. Convicts hide out in territory like this.
Here he is.
I swear I've never been so glad to see other human beings. Foy, Will, and Al, Johnny.
Well, Lefty.
Say, Lefty, this is more than we bargained for.
What are you doing up here, Lefty?
Boys, I've had the greatest piece of luck a man can have. My fortune's made. I'm living on Easy Street from now on.
Well, that's
great.
I found the map to Whittier's Lost Mine. Look.
Put that away, Lefty.
Well, nobody's out here, Foy, just us.
You've probably talked. Told people what you've got. Somebody could have followed.
Don't be so cynical.
More than one man has risked his life trying to find that mine. More than one man would be willing to kill if killing would find it for him.
But out here, nobody...
How about riding down with us? We're headed for the settlement in the valley.
Well, thanks, Foy, but I don't know.
Well, more snow's coming. You don't want to get caught up here traveling light.
Better ride along with us, Lefty.
We can sort of look after him when we get to the settlement.
Yeah, play it safe, fella. You got the map. There's plenty of time to make use of it later.
Well, I can't. I spent too long getting this map. I've got to see what my fortune looks like.
There's more snow coming.
I know snow's coming. That's why I called to you. I wanted to see if there's any shelter up here. A place a man could stay for a couple of days.
Well, you're liable to stay more than a couple of days.
Nobody's going to change my mind.
Well, there's a cabin straight around that bend, up the trail about a mile.
Thanks.
If anybody else is using it, keep your mouth shut about that map.
Now, don't worry about me, and thanks for the help. Come on, help. I'll be a millionaire next time I see you. Buy each a brand new Stetson.
Well, I sure wouldn't want to be in his boots.
Me either, especially if it snows.
Come on, boys. We'll have to make tracks, too, or we won't get down ourselves.
Well, the snow's really coming down.
I can't see a thing.
What do you think? We got a good 10 miles to go before we reach the settlement. You want to ride on?
I doubt if there's a chance of making it. Be no good to get caught between here and the valley.
Yeah, I guess you're right. We're going to need shelter, and we're going to need it real soon.
Yeah, especially if it turns cold.
Let's backtrack and head for the cabin we sent Lefty to. By the looks of the weather, we'll have to go some to make that.
Wind's starting to blow.
Lucky we got here at all. Double lucky we made it before the wind gets heavy.
There's Lefty's horse.
Yeah.
Suppose we head ours in at this side of the cabin, too. More shelter there than anywhere else.
Too bad there ain't a lean-to or something for him. Hey, boy, Johnny, come here. Look through the window.
What's the matter, Al?
Somebody else was in the cabin, too. Somebody besides Lefty. Lefty's stretched out asleep.
A man and woman in there.
Yeah, if you can call that a woman.
You're a fool, Grace.
Coward.
Don't touch him. Don't even go near him until you put a blanket over that window.
Nobody's out there.
Put a blanket over that window, I said.
No.
Can't tell whether anybody's out there or not. Anybody wanting shelter would head straight here, only cabin on this side of the mountain. Cover the whole window, not just half of it, the whole window. That was a mistake. He shouldn't have put that stuff in his coffin.
I want that map. That map means everything. In 6 months, I can be out of this country. I can be living rich.
But what was the good of drugging him now? We can't leave with a storm coming on. When he wakes up, he'll realize what happened. He'll know what we did.
I thought we could get out of here. I didn't know a storm was coming.
Yeah, you're a fool.
I tell you, I gotta have that map. It's my chance.
What do you mean I've got to have that map? We've got to have it. The map is half mine.
I meant we.
Yeah. You'd better.
I'll get the map off him.
Stay where you are. I'll get it. Nobody's going to cheat me. Half of that map belongs to me. Half the mine will belong to me, too. Yeah. Not in his pants pocket.
Look in his shirt.
Sure sleeping deep.
He drank plenty.
Here it is.
Let me
got it.
see.
Keep your hands off. What are you afraid of? I can't run away with it. There's a storm brewing outside.
What about him?
He's going to know he was drugged when he wakes up.
Well, what about him?
You put the stuff in his coffin. You made the mistake.
But we got the map because of my mistake.
We'd have gotten the map anyway.
We got it now, though, on account of what I did. Get your claim in half. You did nothing.
Shut up, will you? I'll take care of him if you feel that way.
That wasn't no bubble gum.
Come on around the other side of the house. Maybe we can see something from there. Don't take any chances.
Here, I found an opening between the logs. Maybe we can... Boy, Al, Lefty's been shot.
What's that?
Yeah, they shot him. Looks like they shot him while he was sleeping in the bunk. One of those two did it.
Come on, let's get him.
Fast and good.
I reckon not, Al, Johnny.
But they killed Lefty.
We've got only one gun between us, and that's not enough when you're facing killers. They won't get away. This storm will keep them in the cabin.
And I'm heading for the settlement right now. The sheriff...
You'll never make it, Al.
I'll try. No good will come from not bringing him to justice.
All right, we'll all go down.
No, you won't. This time I'm boss boy. I don't know why, but I feel I ought to be. You and Johnny stay here and make sure they don't get away. I'll go down alone, and as soon as the storm lets up, I'll be back with a posse.
Why don't you rest? Why don't you stop that pacing?
I don't trust you.
I can't go out in a storm.
I don't trust
Well, that'd be suicide. If they snowed under, lost within 10 minutes.
you. Half that map belongs to me. Half the mine belongs to
Well,
me.
we're together, ain't we? I'm not trying to leave.
Tear the map in two.
No.
Give me my half of the map.
No, I said.
You're trying to cheat me.
Who took care of that guy?
I put the stuff in his coffee.
I took care of him.
Half the map is mine, and I want it now.
Well, you don't get it.
I will.
All right, come after it then. Come on. I'll dare you to come after it. I dare you to follow it.
Then come back.
They're getting away, boy.
Follow him. Don't let him spot us, and don't interfere.
Then I see you. I'll shoot and let you stop.
All right. Wait a minute. Put down that gun. Come on.
You give me half that map.
All right. Here, take half. I'll tear it in two. You can have the part that shows the mine. But you'll never live to use it. I'm going ahead as far as my part shows, storm or no storm.
You can't.
You'll have to follow, or your half won't do you any good. And you'll never make it. You won't be able to stand the storm. You'll drop. And afterwards, I'll come and get your half of the map.
Then you gotta wait for me.
I told you you'd have to keep up.
I can't. I can't go as fast as you.
All right, then fall behind. Get lost. Freeze. That's what I want.
Wait for me.
I've got you. I'll get your half of the map. I'll be rid of you for the rest of my life. You'll never live through this storm.
Then come back.
I will after you drop. I'll come back and I'll get the rest of the map.
Don't leave me.
And don't interfere.
This storm is getting me.
Maybe nature has a way of taking care of folks like these.
Grace! She can't drop down yet. Not yet. Grace!
Where are you?
Grace! I'm hurt. I'm hurt bad.
I can't see you then.
Grace! Grace, we'll have to find some shelter until this storm is over. I'm hurt. Grace! Grace, are you coming?
Keep talking. I won't be able to find you unless you do.
Grace, this way. Over this way. Over here. Here I am. Oh, you're all right, aren't you? Grace, my leg. I don't know, but I think it's broken. I slipped. You got to take care of me until the storm is over.
You were going to leave me to die.
Oh, no. I wouldn't have gone on without you. You know that, Grace.
An hour ago, you were making threats.
No. We have to stick together now. We have to, you see. We'll both freeze to death. Afterwards, we can settle our differences, but...
And we will settle them. Don't forget that.
All right, let's see your half of the map. Maybe there's a shelter nearby, some sort of a cabin. Hey, give me the map. We'll let loose on it.
I'll hold it. You can look while it's in my
I'm
hand.
loose right
You're tearing it. You've torn the map. You've torn the corner off.
And the wind, it blew it right out of my hand.
That corner shows the location of the mine. Now we don't know the last turn to take. We don't know which way to go, and we're almost in sight of the mine. You did this purposely, Ben.
Oh, no, the wind.
You memorized the map. You tore that piece out, and you threw it away purposely. It was another of your tricks.
No, the wind, it blew it out of
But
my
you won't get there. You're not going to live to find the mine.
No, put down the gun. No.
I'll go on myself. I'll find the mine myself. There's only 2 ways to go to that last turn. You won't cheat me. I'll have the mine for myself. I'll have it in spite of it.
What are you doing now, Johnny?
He's dead for it?
Yeah, that one shot did it. Let's get on her trail again.
I've made it. I'm almost there. He didn't stop me. The last turn. That's all the distance I got left to go, I guess. I'll guess at it. I can take one turn. If it isn't right, I'll come back and I'll take the other. He hasn't cheated me. I've lived to get here, and the mine belongs to me.
This way, Johnny. This way. She went this way.
She's out of her head now.
Afraid she is. Look.
What's she doing? Why's she going that way?
She can't see. She's taking the wrong turn. The cliff. She took the wrong turn, Johnny. She tumbled down that cliff, fell 100 feet onto the rock.
Sorry I didn't make it back in time, Foy.
You made a great ride, Al. I didn't think you'd get through.
Yeah, but I'd like to have gotten back in time.
Well, it's better this way. They got what was coming to them. Nature has a way of taking care of folks like that.
It's not so long ago that Texas Rangers were helping to win and hold the West. No group of men ever earned a finer reputation. Folks depended on the Texas Rangers. They brought law and order to their part of the West, and they made friends wherever they went. But then, and nowadays too, to have a friend, you had to be a friend. That's why Weber's Bread has made so many friends. No bread ever earned a finer reputation for better tasting reasons. Folks depend on it. Folks know that when you take home a fresh, wrapped, savory loaf of Weber's Bread, you'll find flavor, real flavor, freshness in every slice, and food values that add up to energy. Yes, it's Weber's Bread, so it's delicious. Try it. Serve it often. For Weber's Bread always means fine, flavorsome enjoyment. When you shop, take Weber's Bread in the blue and white gingham wrapper.
Our featured song, one that ranks high on any list of Western music, for in it has been woven the real spirit of the real West. The Riders of the Purple Sage sing Twilight on the Trail.
When it's twilight on the trail and I jog along, the world is like a dream, and the ripple of the stream is my song. When it's twilight on the trail and I rest once more, my ceiling is the sky, and the grass on which I lie is my floor. Never ever have a nickel in my jeans, never ever have a debt to pay. Still I understand what real contentment means. Yes, I was born that way. When it's twilight on the trail and my voice is still, please plant this heart of mine underneath the lonesome pine on the hill. Yes, I was born that way. When it's twilight on the trail and my voice is still, please plant this heart of mine underneath the lonesome pine on the hill. When it's twilight on the
Well, that's about it for now, friends. We hope you'll be with us again next week. Before we go, we'd like to thank Bill Boucher, Bill Shaw, and Monty Margette for helping us tell our story. This is Foy Willing speaking for Al Sloey, Johnny Paul, Scotty Harrell, the Riders of the Purple Sage saying so long and good luck to all of you.
Drifting along, singing a song under a western
From Hollywood, you've heard your all-star Western Theater, a V.M. Bear production, starring America's great Western singers, Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage. The script was by Ray Wilson and direction by Tom Hargis. This is Bob Green speaking.
The All-Star Western Theater came to you from Columbia Square. Weber's Bread present your All-Star Western Theater, produced in Hollywood and transcribed for release at this time.
Singing a song under a western moon.
From Hollywood comes your all-star Western Theater, starring America's great Western singers, Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage, bringing you the music, the stories, and the spirit of the great open spaces. And now, the Riders of the Purple Sage.
I want to drink my Java from an old tin can while the moon goes riding high. I want to hear the call of the whippoorwill. I want to hear that coyote cry. I want to feel my saddle horse between my legs, riding him out on the range, just to kick him in the side, make him show his stepping pride, out on the Texas plains. Each night in my dreams, somehow it seems I'm back where I belong. Just a country hick way back in the sticks, back where I was born. The city life and the city ways are driving me insane. I want to be alone, I want to be back home, out on the Texas plains. I want to drink my Java from an old tin can while the moon goes riding high. I want to hear the call of the whippoorwill. I want to hear that coyote cry. I want to feel my saddle horse between my legs, riding him out on the range, just to kick him in the side, make him show his stepping pride, out on the Texas plains, out on the Texas plains.
Hello, friends. Now for a right smart little popular song about an island dear to the heart of every Southern Californian. You'll note the words call it an island of romance, which is perfectly true. It is an island of romance now, just as it was an island of high adventure in the days of pirates. Free great song about Santa Catalina. Al Sloey, if you lead off, we'll join in.
Land of enchantment across the bay,
Santa Catalina, island of romance.
I heard the music from far away.
How it haunted me to take a chance
into the harbor I sailed one day.
There I saw two eyes that told me with a glance
that all my trouble would soon depart. I'd found my lover
and lost my heart.
Most everyone enjoys listening to stories of the Old West and to Western tunes. But ask them how they'd like to live in the old days, and that's another story. Ranch life was always hard, leastwise among the mothers and housewives, especially the cooking and baking. Nowadays, women find life a lot easier and meal getting simpler. Baking isn't a problem anymore when every neighborhood grocer sells good Weber's bread. Fresh, delicious, and fine as bread can be. Look for the famous blue and white gingham wrapper at your food store. Remember, Weber's bread. It's good to the last crumb.
The next song on our program is a little novelty love song that's been recorded on Majestic Records. Here are Foy Willing and the boys to sing it for you. I couldn't believe it was true.
Last night I came home and I knocked on the door. I called to my love as I oft had before. I knocked and I knocked, but no answer there came. No kisses to greet me, no voice called my name. I couldn't believe it was true, oh Lord, I couldn't believe it was true. My eyes filled with tears, I must have aged in years. I couldn't believe it was true. I let myself in and I walked to our bed. I found a note there and the message I read. The truth like a bolt from the blues in the dawn. My sweetheart had left me, my darling had gone. I couldn't believe it was true, oh Lord, I couldn't believe it was true. My eyes filled with tears, I must have aged in years. I couldn't believe it was true. The shock was so great I am shivering yet. I've tried to forgive, but I cannot forget. My heartbreak and loss is another man's game. Her happiness always, I hope, will remain. I couldn't believe it was true, oh Lord, I couldn't believe it was true. My eyes filled with tears, I must have aged in years. I couldn't believe it was true.
Well, it's time now for Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage to tell us another of their adventures in the West. This week they called their story Life and Death and Scotty. Sometimes, perhaps because of pictures we've seen and books we've read, the West appears to be populated entirely by gamblers and gunmen. Yet the West isn't that at all. The people of the West aren't killers and thieves. They're families, most of them living small lives, working honorably and diligently to accomplish decent ambitions. Take old Scotty, for example. Nobody's quite sure of his last name. Perhaps he's forgotten it himself. But the Riders of the Purple Sage honor Scotty as a good friend. They don't see him as often as they'd like, for he's a prospector and spends his life alone. First at one desert spot, then another, in his quest for gold.
Sure gonna be good to see that old guy again.
You bet it is, Al.
Wonder what he wants this time.
I don't know, but when a man like Scotty goes to the labor of getting out a stub of a pencil and scrawling some words on a piece of paper, you know he's got something important on his mind. There he is. There's Scotty.
Hi, Scotty. You fellas sure must have done some riding. Didn't expect to see you till sunset.
Well, we knew if you sent for us, Scotty, there was a good reason.
Just leave your horses there for time being. They'll be all right.
Sure.
If you'll excuse me for a minute, I'll take this canteen and... I'll tell you what. You come on into the shack with me. You can meet my friend right off.
Your friend, Scotty?
Uh-huh. Yeah, just taking him a canteen of water.
You mean you took in a partner?
We never knew you to work any way but alone before, Scotty.
And I have to be a little careful when I open this door. Sag some. I run out of nails when I built the shack. I only had enough for one hinge.
Here, let me help you.
Hey, thanks. I don't like to leave things open when I'm gone for fear a rattler might get in. There it is.
Golly.
That's fine. Arnold.
What is this, Foy?
I don't know, Johnny.
Arnold, you awake now? These friends of mine I was telling you about. Right here.
That's good.
This is Foy Willing. Here's Al Sloey and Johnny Paul.
Hello, Arnold.
Howdy, boys.
Arnold ain't been feeling so good last couple of days. I don't think it's anything serious, though.
Kind of wobbly on my pins.
And now, if we can raise you up just a little here. There. You can drink this water while it's still cool.
Well,
easy, no hurry. There.
Got her.
Arnold and I run into each other out here 6-7 months ago. Both of us prospecting. And when we begun to talk, we found out we had an awful lot in common. Been a real satisfactory partnership. And you... is that enough, Arnold?
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
It's cooling, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
Boys, Arnold's been wanting me to visit a daughter he's got. I figured that you might enjoy riding with us.
Why, sure, Scotty. Sure.
Well, now, that's just fine. Arnold, I guess the boys and I'll go out and catch a burro. Start packing right away.
Wish I could help. But my pins are still...
Now, you just rest. The burro's down by the spring, boys. I reckon we ought to get her first.
Whatever you say, Scotty.
Close this door. If I'd known I was going to be short of nails when I built the shack, I'd have put that hinge in the middle instead on top. That's good.
Well, Scotty?
Awful nice fella, Arnold. Him and me got a lot in common.
Pretty sick, isn't he?
Yep, 4 years. I reckon he's going to die. I don't think he knows it, though. He's got a hankering to see his daughter, so I took it upon myself to have you fellas come and help me get him to her. I couldn't do it alone.
Oh, glad you did.
Yeah, we want to help.
Be awful sorry to see Arnold die. Awful nice fella.
Looks bad, don't he?
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Scotty, too. He ain't never had many close friends.
I was just asking Arnold if he didn't think we ought to stop and rest a few minutes.
That might be a good idea, Scotty.
No, I'm fine. Not a bit tired.
Well, now, whatever you say. I guess we better keep right on going, boy. Say, Arnold, you notice them purple mountains off in the distance set up there against the sky?
Uh-huh. Real pretty.
Yep. When we're on our way back to our diggings, let's stop for a while and look at them. I don't want to take time now because you're anxious to see your daughter. But on the way back, we'll stop and we'll look at them. Boy, Arnold's kind of restless. I think I'll go over to him, see if there's anything he wants.
All right.
Arnold, you all right?
Scotty, will you sit down beside me?
Why, sure.
Been wishing somebody'd come over.
You feeling bad?
Wobbly. More wobbly all the time.
Well, I brought a canteen of water. Or if you'd like me to heat up something for you to eat.
No, just setting will be enough.
Yes, it's all right.
Sounds of the night is pretty, ain't they? Makes you know how much of life there is, even in the dark. Scotty, I don't think I'll be alive in the morning.
Oh, now, that's no kind of thinking for the man to do.
I'm not afraid. Just something I know. Ain't no help for it. Seems odd to think that In the morning, my knife and chisels and hammer and skillets will still be in my pack, and I won't be here. And tomorrow night, there'll be these same sounds, yet I won't be listening.
Where you think you'll be, Arnold?
What?
Well, you got to be somewhere.
I'll be dead.
Oh, now there ain't no such thing as death.
Oh, I'm not scared, Scotty. Not much, anyhow. You don't have to talk like no preacher.
I'm not talking like a preacher. I'm talking like a prospector, Arnold. Look here. There's a little water left in this canteen. I'm going to pour it out under the ground. There. Canteen's empty now. Clear empty. But that don't mean that the water's gone from anywhere except the canteen. Water's still water, soaking into the ground. Soaking way down deep till it comes to an underground lake. Then maybe it'll run on to a spring and come out at a brook or a river and travel to the sea. Traveling all the time. You see, just finding out all there is to know.
Uh-huh.
Canteen's empty, Arnold. But emptying it didn't destroy the water. It just set the water free, that's all. Body's a canteen. Kind of holding a life penned in. I don't know what for. It ain't kept penned in so men can dig for gold like we do or go around telling everybody else off like some other folks do. But there must be a reason. And I'm not smart enough to figure it. All I figured is that life ain't destroyed when it gets loose.
It's nice here. These last 6 months have been nice.
Got a lot in common. Both of us wanting to be high-up judges when we was boys, and both of us winding up as lone prospectors when we was men. Even that makes you wonder why we was put here.
Scotty.
Yeah?
Tell me that part again. About the canteen and the water.
Aye, sure. You see, I spilled the water out into the ground. I emptied the canteen, but the only thing that did to the water was to get it out, set it free. Why, look, you can hardly see where it's soaked into the ground anymore. It's traveling down, and it'll keep on traveling until it finds some underground lake. And then it'll flow out from a spring, and into a brook or into a river, and on to the sea. Hey, Foy. Foy!
Yeah, Scotty?
Arnold's gone. He's traveled on. If you don't mind, boys, I'll keep on going the rest of the way with you.
Why, sure,
you do that, Scotty.
Yeah, sure.
I'll have to break the news to Arnold's daughter and give her the 2 pokes of gold and the little stuff that he had. It ain't much, but I reckon she'll want something to remember him by. And then I want you fellas to take over my burro and my mining tools.
What's that?
You can have them as a present.
Well, you can't get along without your burro, Scotty.
Or your tools, either.
I couldn't if I was going back to the claim again, but I'm not. I wouldn't feel right now, alone. I'll try and get me a job in town.
Why, what sort of a job do you think you could do, Scotty?
Well, I'd kind of like to sell newspapers for you. There I'd be standing on the corner with all the events of the world under my arm, ready to deliver to people. I believe that'd make me feel important enough so I'd kind of forget what's happened. If you'd like to wait outside, I'll go in and see her alone.
Yeah, it'd be better if you did, Scotty. Having too many strangers around isn't good.
Now, we'll wait out here for you, though.
I'll have to be as gentle as I can. She must have thought an awful lot of them.
Thank you for coming, Scotty.
Oh, now that's all right, ma'am.
I'm glad he had a friend like you.
He must have known right along that his days was coming to an end. He kept wanting to get back here for a visit. I didn't say much. But to a feller who knew him real well, that was enough. I sure wish there'd been some way so we could have made it.
So do I.
Well, if there's ever anything I can do, just let me know.
There's something you can do now if you will.
Oh, well, sure.
Come here, with me. As long as he couldn't be here to see this, I want you to. There. Oh, 3 weeks old.
A boy or a girl?
Boy.
Looks an awful lot like him, don't it?
Yes, an awful lot.
The eyes, the nose. Ma'am, all of a sudden I know more than I did. Water spilled out of a canteen don't just wander about aimlessly. Water spilled out of a canteen goes direct to... excuse me, ma'am. There were some theories him and I had. Seeing the baby and how much a baby looks like him sort of clears up a point about where spilled water travels to. Nice a girl as you'd ever want to see, Foy. Took it brave. You know, while I was there, she took it awful brave. Though I expect she's crying now.
That's tough.
Baby's going to comfort her. Looks just like he did.
Boy, is it?
Yep. 8-pounder. She says that's big, but it's really awful small. Especially for a name like Robert Benjamin Davis.
Hey, wait a minute.
Robert Benjamin Davis?
Why, that's the name of that...
Yeah, she named a baby after its paw.
She's brave, all right, Scotty. If she didn't break down while you were there.
Huh? What you mean for?
If Robert Benjamin Davis was her husband... Scotty, Robert Benjamin Davis was Robbie Davis. We saw him in the rodeo last week. He was killed.
Killed?
Bulldogging.
And she never mentioned a word to me. She's lost both of them then. Arnold and her husband. Boy, I reckon I'm going to have to ask you to lend me back my burro and my tools for a while.
Sure, Scotty.
I'll go back to the claim and dig. You know, Arnold and I was talking, and we couldn't figure out why people was put here on this earth. But now that doesn't seem important. Or the why doesn't, that is. The important thing seems to be that as long as we are here, we try to help each other get along. I wonder, would you fellers drop out once in a while and pick up my diggings? You can take 'em to her and tell 'em that they came from her dad's claim. That way she'd use the money to take care of the little fella and not be worried. Sure looks an awful lot like Arnold. Just an awful lot.
You know, it's strange, the trouble some folks have in learning that the best friends are the friends you can count on. Yes, sir, dependability is the true test of friendship. Next time bread's on your shopping list, and it should be often, just remember that dependability is the test of good bread, too. And good bread means Weber's bread. It's easy to prove this statement. Take home a fresh baked loaf of Weber's bread and serve it at your very next mealtime. You'll find that every slice of Weber's bread is a real treat for your family. Fresh, really fresh, with a flavor all its own. It's bread at its best, Weber's bread. And the real test? You can count on it every time, every slice. So buy the loaf in the blue and white gingham wrapper, for that's Weber's. The bread that goes farthest because it stays fresh, good to the last crumb.
The featured song, one we believe that carries on the real spirit and tradition of the West. This week, a contribution to Western music by Sid Robin and Foy Willing, Where the Cool, Clear Water Spills.
And we walked along the river cool, clear water spills. Cool, clear water, clear water. And we walked along the river where the cool, clear water spills.
There's a pretty spot in Texas where I long once more to be, where the mountains touch the river that hurries out to sea. It was there I took my darling down among the rippling rills,
and we walked along the river where the cool, clear water spills. Cool, clear water, clear water. And we walked along the river where the cool, clear water spills. In Texas, where it all comes back to me, of that stroll along the river, that lonely memory. And I know that she's still waiting down among the daffodils, and we'll walk along the river where the cool, clear water spills. Cool, clear water, clear water. And we walk along the river where the cool, clear water spills. Clear water,
Well, that's about it for this time, friends. We hope you'll be with us again next week. Before we go, we'd like to thank Horace Murphy, Janet Logan, and Fred Howard as Scotty for helping us tell our story. This is Foy Willing speaking for Al Sloey, Johnny Paul, Scotty Harrell, the Riders of the Purple Sage, saying so long and good luck to all of you.
Drifting along, singing a song under a western moon.
From Hollywood, you've heard your all-star Western Theater, a V.M. Bear production starring America's great Western singers, Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage. The script was by Ray Wilson, direction by Tom Hargis. This is Terry O'Sullivan speaking.
The All-Star Western Theater, starring Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage, was recorded earlier and came to you from Columbia Square. From Hollywood, the bakers of Weber's Bread present your All-Star Western Theater.
Drifting along, singing a song under a western moon.
From Hollywood comes your all-star Western Theater, starring America's great Western singers, Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage, bringing you the music, the stories, and the spirit of the great open spaces. And now, the Riders of the Purple Sage.
Trail herding cowboy, hop on your pony singing.
Lo-dee-o,
Start riding now, boy, we'll make San Antonio singing. Healy-ay, healy-o, long weary days, a dusty road to travel, but we'll make the boss pay for all this battle, driving cattle. Light-hearted, carefree trail, herding cowboy singing. Healy-ay, healy-o, keep moving, dogies, time is a-wasting singing. Healy-ay, healy-o, I'm not impatient, but why don't you hasten singing? Healy-ay, healy-o, you ought to know that a certain someone's waiting. You ought to know that they're captivating, confiscating. Arms will enfold this trail, herding cowboy singing. Healy-ay, healy-o, one little doggy strayed from his mother singing. Healy-ay, healy-o, trail herding cowboy, there goes another singing. Healy-ay, healy-o, follow the doggies through endless days of sunshine. When this drive is over, we'll take our fun time all at one time. Makes me a happy trail herding cowboy singing. Healy-ay, healy-o, healy-ay, healy-o.
Thank you, friends. And now, if all of you Oklahomans will move in a little closer, we're going to sing a song about a town and a girl that you all know. But don't you other folks go away, because we think you'll like this number, too. It's being played and sung all over the country, and we'd like to sing it for you. Rose of Old Pawnee.
Rose of Old Pawnee, flower of the dawn, blooming tenderly, her memory still lingers on. Angel of the night, moonlit reverie, star of love so bright, shines on my rose of Old Pawnee.
Sweet are the dreams that I hold in my heart
As I go wandering along,
Long are the hours since we've drifted apart.
deep in my heart is a song. Rose of Old Pawnee, flower of the dawn, blooming tenderly, her memory still lingers on. Angel of the night, moonlit reverie, star of love so bright, shines on my rose of Old Pawnee.
Singing and listening to songs and ballads of life on the range used to be a favorite pastime of the boys in the bunkhouse after the day's work was over. Much of the authentic flavor of life on the range has been preserved for us in these cowboy songs. The bakers of Weber's Bread are proud to bring you many of these songs on the All-Star Western Theater, just as they are proud to keep your community supplied with good Weber's Bread. And Weber's Bread really is good bread, too, with all the rich flavor and fine, even texture that make it a substantial and enjoyable part of every meal. Everyone enjoys that long-lasting freshness, that good to the last crumb flavor of Weber's bread in the eye-catching blue and white gingham wrapper. Vialope next time you shop at your friendly neighborhood grocers. What have you and the boys lined up next, boy?
Well, Terry, this next number comes right out of the old Red Barn, and it features Johnny Paul and Bud Sievert, back home again in Indiana.
Well, here's a new number that Foy and the boys are going to sing for you, one of their latest majestic recordings, A Little White House with You Inside.
Little white house with you inside, and heaven will be near me. With your love proved and tried, always near to cheer me. From your side I won't roam, with your love I can't go wrong. Little white house with you inside, and I'll be satisfied. Little white house with you inside, life will be so happy. Yours and mine at my side, calling me their pappy. Storms may come and rain may fall, I'll be near you when you call. Little white house with you inside, and I'll be satisfied. Little white house with you inside, and I'll bring home the money. You're the queen and my bride, I'll always call you honey. You love me and I love you, love like ours will be true. Little white house with you inside, and I'll be satisfied. Little white house with you inside, never mind the weather. Face this world side by side, we'll grow old together. Old and gray, still in love, thank the Lord from above. Little white house with you inside, I'll be satisfied.
Time now for Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage to ring up the curtain on the story they call A Combination That's Hard to Beat. The West, from the rocky peaks of Wyoming to the burning wastes along the Mexican border. From Colorado's snowy crests to the broad, lush ranch lands of California. How vast it is, how ageless, how relentless. And beyond this land of mountains, forests, and desert lies another domain as limitless and as mighty as the West itself, the great Pacific Ocean. And when a man stands between these two awesome forces, where the sea meets the western coast, he stands on the saber's edge of destiny, and the sharp blade of nature divides the evil from the good. The Riders of the Purple Sage were in that part of California where the mountains and valleys crowd close to the shores of the Pacific. They rode off the road onto a headland and stopped for a look at the sea.
Well, I don't know about you fellows, but I'm going to stretch my legs a little.
Me too, Al. I feel like I must have been born in that saddle. Oh, all right, old gal, get yourself some of that green grass.
Well, I guess we deserve a little rest. We started from Toro right after breakfast, and we've been pulling leather ever since. Okay, take 5.
Hey, boy, Johnny, take a look over here, will you?
Man. Just look at that ocean.
Ain't it a sight to see?
Sure is. You know, Foy, I was just thinking what a ranch that old Pacific Ocean would make if she was grazing land instead of just salt water.
That's right, Al. You know, the Gulf of California would make a nice, sheltered spot for your corral. And you could get a lot of cows in it, too.
Oh, you sure could. And come roundup time, you could make your camp over on the Hawaiian Islands.
Man, I sure would like to have one of them hula gals to help me with the branding.
Oh, yeah.
I see you guys have it all figured out, haven't you? Well, I guess we'd better be...
Hey, listen, Foy, what's that?
Don't know. Wait a minute.
There he is, Foy, up on the ridge.
Look, he's coming this way.
Yeah, that's funny. He's riding a horse, but he sure don't look like a cowhand.
He sure don't. What in tarnation is that get-up he's wearing?
It's a sailor suit.
Sailor suit?
What's the matter? Ain't you guys ever seen a sailor before?
Not on horseback, Johnny.
Gosh, I never thought of that.
Hey, boy, that hombre looks familiar to me.
Yeah, he sure does. Why, it's Jeff. Jeff Peters.
Why, it sure is. Hey, Jeff, hiya, boy.
Doggone. Hiya, Jeff.
Oh, boy. Al, Johnny?
Well, hiya, Jeff.
Come on. This sure is a surprise. I didn't figure on running into you fellas around here.
Well, we didn't figure on you crossing our trail either, Jeff. Say, what's the idea of the seagoing shops?
Yeah, what are you doing wearing that little old white Stetson on your head? Are you a cowpoke or a deckhand?
Well, a little of both, I guess. See, I'm a member of the Coast Guard Mounted Patrol. Our station is down on the beach there, right around that point.
Well, I'll be... You mean the Coast Guard boys ride horses?
Of course they do, Al. The Coast Guard Mounted Patrol is sort of like the cavalry. They do all of their work on horseback.
Yeah, that's right, Foy. But believe me, it ain't like cowpunching. A lot of difference in patrolling and riding herd on a bunch of whitefaces on Dad's ranch.
Say, Jeff, how come you aren't out of uniform and back on the ranch? You've been in the service for quite a while now.
Well, it's a long story, Foy. We lost the ranch, and Dad's gone. Passed away last month.
Oh, that's bad news, Jeff. How'd it happen?
Well, you see, a couple of months ago, I came back from overseas, and they stationed me here on mounted patrol duty till they got a replacement. Well, Dad and I wanted to celebrate, so I got a liberty, and we took off for Las Vegas.
Oh? Did a little gambling, I suppose?
That's right. Foy, did you ever hear of a big-shot gambler named Tony Josco?
Josco? No. Can't say that I have.
Well, Josco was running a crooked roulette wheel at Vegas. And Dad and I found it out too late.
Is that how you lost the ranch, Jeff?
Yeah. Josco got some IOUs from Dad, and he wound up with a deed to the ranch. That's what killed Dad. He worried and fretted, and then...
You mean...
Yeah. Sleeping pills. The coroner called it an accident, but, well, I know better. Foy, Tony Josco killed my dad just as sure as if he'd stuck a 6-gun in his ribs and pulled the trigger.
That dirty rat.
But, Jeff, ain't there anything you can do?
Not a blessed thing, Al. Not without the deed to the ranch. Josco has that.
Where's Josco now, Jeff? Still up at Vegas?
No. No, as a matter of fact, he's right in the neighborhood.
What do you mean?
Look, out there on the ocean. Just west of the point there. See that black speck?
Yeah, I see it. But what's that got to do with Josco?
Everything. That speck is a gambling ship. Josco owns it.
Well, what do you know?
The time I think of that murdering crook sitting out there with a deed to our ranch in his safe,
Wait a minute, Jeff. Take it easy. Look, have you ever thought of trying to get that deed back?
I haven't thought of anything else, Foy. Josco must have at least 10 of his gunmen out there on the ship with him. What could a lone hand do against odds like that?
But, Jeff, you aren't a lone hand now. You just got yourself some reinforcement. Right, fellas?
You're darn right, Jeff. We're your boys.
We'll help you out.
You mean that you guys will...
Well, of course we will, Jeff. What are friends for? Besides, I'd welcome the chance to fix Josco's little red wagon. That kind of an hombre just naturally brings out the mean streak in me.
Me too, Foy.
Jeff, is Josco's gambling boat open for business?
Sure. Gets a shipload of suckers every night and takes them for whatever they got in their jeans.
Uh-huh. You know, boys, I'm not much of a gambling man, but I sure do enjoy a nice boat ride now and then.
What are you getting at, Foy?
Jeff, is there some kind of a small, fast motorboat at that station of yours we might sort of borrow for the evening?
Yeah. We got a speedy little gasoline launch that the chief will let me take.
Good. Tonight, we're going to get ourselves some salt sea air, and at the same time, pay a little visit to Mr. Tony Josco.
My golly, Jeff, this Coast Guard chow sure is good. Beats the stuff we get from a chuck wagon by a mile.
You sure must like it, Al. You've been eating like a starved timber wolf. Look, fellas, what do you say let's get on to business?
All right.
Jeff, how much do you know about the layout of Tony Josco's gambling ship?
Well, not much, Foy, but... Well, if I know that rat Josco, you'll have plenty of his hoods around guarding him, especially with all the dough there is on board.
And you figure you'll have the deed to your ranch in his safe?
Sure. Where else? So that's the place we'll have to make for.
Well, how are we going to get the safe open?
Say, Foy, this might be a thought. Josco has a little trick he pulls every time somebody gets to winning heavily. He tells him he has to go to his safe for some more money and invites him to his office for a shot of bourbon. Then he gets him in a friendly game, and the crooked work starts.
Yeah, it might work. But how are we going to get someone to be a big winner so that Josco will try to pull that stunt?
Oh, that's right.
Well, fellas, if what you want is a big winner on that boat tonight, that's what you're going to have. It just so happens that an old hand at 3-card Monte once taught me a few tricks about dealing off the bottom.
Al, you're not serious.
Well, I sure am, Foy. Not being a crooked gambler, I never thought I'd have any use for them kind of shenanigans. But my conscience sure wouldn't bother me none for using them on Josco.
Jeff, that's it. Let's get underway. We're getting pretty close to the gambling ship, Jeff. Reckon maybe you better cut off the motor?
Yeah, I guess so, Foy. There. Now we'll take her from here with the oars.
You stay at the rudder, Foy. Johnny and I can handle the rowing. Let's go, Johnny.
Okay, Al. Now, let's make sure we got everything straight.
Yeah.
When we get on board the ship, Jeff, Johnny and I will locate Josco's office and hide just as near to it as we can.
Right.
Al will mix with the crowd in the gambling rooms and start to play 3-card Monte. When Josco invites him back to his office, Al will go with him. And when they get inside of the office, we'll all jump Josco. Got it?
Good. Got you, Foy. All right, boys. Better hold it down now. We're just a few yards from the ship.
Hey, look, Foy, there's a ladder. Over there running up the side of the ship. Steer for that.
Okay. Jeff, grab the ladder and put a line on it.
Got it. There. Okay, Foy, she's made fast. I'll climb up the ladder and see if the coast is clear.
Okay, but be careful when you stick your head over the edge of that deck. One of Josco's men might see you and try to part your hair with a slug from a 40-some-odd.
Don't worry, I'll watch it. Okay, boys, come on up.
Good. Up you go, Al. Johnny. Now, here's where we separate. Al, you make...
Boy, somebody's coming.
Quick, duck behind this lifeboat. Hurry.
Well, boss, it looks like a big night. Lots of suckers on board.
Yeah, they got plenty of heavy sugar with them. Just see to it that they haven't got any of it left when they go home.
Don't worry, boss. Don't worry. If it wasn't that we provided them with free water taxi service, they'd have to swim to get back to town.
Okay. Quit being a funny man.
But, boss, I was only
Never
trying...
mind.
All
Get
right.
back to the gambling rooms and keep your eye on those dealers. Some of them might be crooked.
Are you kidding, boss? Some of them might be crooked.
Shut up. If you want me, I'll be in the bar.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Guy can't even open his yap around here. So what?
Okay, Foy, they're gone.
Good. Let's get started. Get going, Al.
Let me have another shot, Kelsey. Plain water.
Hey, boss, excuse me a minute, will you?
What do you want?
Boss, look, I think you better come into the card room. There's a guy in there who's winning kind of heavy at 3-card Monte.
We'll see about this. Come on, Chip. Hi, fella. Having a little run of luck, aren't you?
Oh, hi. Yeah, the cards are being pretty good to me tonight.
Fine. By the way, my name's Tony Josco. I own the joint.
Glad to meet you, Mr. Josco. I'm Al Slowick.
Glad to know you. Say, it looks like the house is running a little short at this table. I'll go to my office, get some more dough. Slowy,
Yeah?
how about joining me for a little drink? I'd like to have you see my office.
Well, Mr. Josco, I sure will. There ain't nothing I'd rather do than see that office of yours.
Hey, boy, we've been hiding here over an hour. You reckon Josco's ever going to invite Val back to his office?
Don't know, Johnny. But if he don't, we're going to have to figure out some other way of getting into that safe to get the deed to Jeff's ranch.
All right, Johnny. Shh. Here they come.
Yeah. Good old Al.
When do we jump him, Foy?
As they're going through the door. Look. Josco's got his key in the lock. He's opening the door. Okay, boys, now.
I certainly am glad to make your acquaintance, Snowy. Just step right into my...
All right, Josco, get him up.
Quiet, Josco. Don't make a sound. You're a dead pigeon.
All right.
Come on now. Get into that office and be quick about it.
What is this, hijack?
That's right, Josco, but not the kind of a hijack you think. We aren't after your money.
You aren't, huh? And what is it
Stow it, Josco. Keep your trap shut and open that safe. I want the deed to my father's ranch.
Ranch? Oh, yeah. Now I recognize you. Peters. Okay, kid, I'll get it for you. Just watch that gun doesn't go off.
Open up that safe in a hurry, or it might do just that.
All right. Take it easy. I'm opening it. There. So that strong box inside.
Give me that box.
Better hurry it up, Jeff. Can't tell when one of this weasel's hired hands might take a notion to come busting in.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, here it is, Foy. I got it.
Good. Now let's get out of here. Look, Josco, we're going to lock you in, and if I was you, I wouldn't try to make a move till we're gone. Come on now.
Boy, look out. The door.
I'll get him.
You missed, you rat.
Chip, where are you? Don't leave me, Chip.
Jeff, look out. Josco's going for his gun.
Going for it too late. There you are, Josco. That'll pay you for murdering my dad.
Where's the little guy, Foy? He's disappeared.
Either scared out or he's going to get help. Come on, we got to get out of here.
Boy, over this way. Here's the ladder.
All right, Jeff. You go first and start the motor. We'll hold them off till you're ready.
Okay, Foy.
Boy, Johnny, behind the lifeboat. They're coming.
Right. Look, shoot across that open doorway there. They'll keep them bottled up in the companionway.
Okay, here goes. That ought to hold them.
Keep down, fellas. They're shooting back at us.
Come on, boys. She's rolling.
Over the side, men. Over the side. Into the boat, quick.
Hurry up, boys. We got to get out of gunshot range before they put a spotlight on us.
Al, Johnny, you okay?
All aboard, Foy. Let her go, Jeff.
Whew. Man, oh, man. That is a close call.
Sure was. But I got the deed to the ranch safe in my jeans.
Yeah, you also got a bullet hole through your sailor cap. Here, take it off and put on my Stetson.
Okay. Thanks, Al.
Hey, look at him. Got on a sailor suit and a cowboy hat. A sailor and a cowboy.
That's right, Johnny. A sailor and a cowboy. And you know something, fellas? That's a combination that's hard to beat.
Hard-boiled and toughened by working under all sorts of conditions in all kinds of weather, cowboys are traditionally softies when it comes to helping out a friend. Once gained, their friendship and loyalty are unquestioning. And that's the kind of friends that Weber's Bread has today, unquestioning. Because those who use Weber's Bread know that Weber's is always good bread. Its quality is consistent. It never lets you down. That fine, fresh flavor is just naturally present in every slice of Weber's bread because it's the natural flavor of choice selected ingredients. Buy a loaf of Weber's bread next time you go shopping and see if your family doesn't agree that Weber's adds extra enjoyment to every meal. You will find Weber's bread on your grocer's shelves fresh every morning in the familiar blue and white gingham wrapper. Buy a loaf Monday. You'll like it.
And now for our featured Song of the West. This week, the Riders of the Purple Sage have chosen a number which reflects the sentiments of a wanderer, a drifter who's traveled the whole world over, and now, the rainbow's end.
I've traveled this whole world over, and now I'm going down to the rainbow's end. From twilight till dawn, trudging on and on, till I come to the rainbow's end.
and tired, but I don't care. I'm going down to the rainbow's end. I have no friends, no home, just a traveling alone on my way to the rainbow's end.
They say there are treasures of silver and gold that's buried down by the rainbow's end. But the treasure I'll find will bring me real peace of mind when I come to the rainbow's end.
For someone has waited there all alone, so I will know at the rainbow's end how it feels to be pressed to an angel's breast when we meet at the rainbow's end.
Well, that's about it for this time, friends. Before we go, we'd like to thank Howard Culver, Charles Calvert, and Lou Krugman for their good work in helping us tell our story. This is Foy Willing speaking for Al Sloey, Johnny Paul, and Lou Preston, the writers of the Purple Sage, saying so long and good luck to all of you.
Drifting along, singing a song under a western moon.
From Hollywood, you've heard your all-star Western Theater, a V.M. Bear production starring America's great Western singers, Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage. The script was by Tom O'Dare, direction by Tom Hargis. This is Terry O'Sullivan speaking. Your all-star Western Theater came to you from Columbia Square.
This is KNX in Los Angeles, 1070 on your radio dial.
The bakers of Weber's Bread present your all-star Western Theater, recorded earlier for release at this time.
Drifting along, singing a song under a western moon.
From Hollywood comes your all-star Western Theater, starring America's great Western singers, Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage, bringing you the music, the stories, and the spirit of the great open spaces. And now, here are the Riders of the Purple Sage.
Hear my song as I ride along. I'm just a happy roving cowboy, herding the dark clouds out of the sky, keeping the heavens blue. Nowhere to go and nothing to do. I'm just a happy roving cowboy. Let me ride that long trail down to the end where the skies are always blue. Hear my song as I ride along. I'm just a happy roving cowboy, herding the dark clouds out of the sky, keeping the heavens blue. Ain't got a dime to spend in my time. I'm just a happy roving cowboy. Let me sing my song till they call me home to the land beyond the blue. Hear my song as I ride along. I'm just a happy roving cowboy, herding the dark clouds out of the sky, keeping the heavens blue.
Thank you, friends. It's good to be back again with you this week. Right now, the boys and I would like to sing for you an old love ballad which has recently reached new heights of popularity. We know you'll like I Wonder Who's Kissing Her Now.
I wonder if she ever tells him of me.
I wonder who's kissing her now. I wonder who's buying the wine for lips that I used to call mine.
I wonder if she ever tells him of me.
I wonder who's kissing her
We hear a lot about the romantic cowboys of the Old West, but little is said about the cowgirls who lived on the great cattle ranges. Yes, sir, the women had a lot to do with the winning of the West. While the men were installing law and order on the great frontiers, their women folk were making homes out of rough shacks and ranch buildings. Those women knew the value of good food for their men folks, just like the women of today do. And while the pioneer women had to bake bread 2 or 3 times a week, the modern woman is more fortunate. For her and her hungry men folks, there's Weber's bread at her convenient neighborhood grocer's, fresh baked every day. And what good bread it is, soft, fresh, and tasty. Just what you want bread to be. Buy a loaf of Weber's bread tomorrow in the blue and white gingham wrapper. You'll like it.
And now the Riders of the Purple Sage are ready to bring you their special rendition of a true Western classic, San Antonio Rose.
Deep within my heart lies a melody, a song of old San Antonio, where in dreams I live with a memory beneath the stars all alone.
It was there I found beside the Alamo enchantment strange as the blue up above. Moonlit past that only she would know. Still hears my broken song of love.
Moon in all your splendor, know only my heart. Call back my rose, rose of San Antonio. Live so sweet and tender, like petals falling apart. Speak once again of my love, my own
overbroken song, empty words I know.
Still live in my heart all alone.
All that moonlit past by the Alamo,
and rose, my rose of San Antonio. Moon in all your splendor, know only my heart. Call back my rose, rose of San Antonio. Lips so sweet and tender, like petals falling apart. Speak once again of my love, my own
overbroken song, empty words I know.
Still live in my heart all alone.
All that moonlit past by the Alamo,
and rose, my rose of San Antonio, rose of San Antonio.
Boy, you have a look in your eye that tells me you and the boys have something special for the folks.
Well, you're right, Terry. It's a favorite song of ours because its sentiments are truly Western. We'd like to sing Adobe Hacienda.
In my adobe hacienda, there's a touch of Mexico. Cactus lovelier than orchid, blooming in the patio.
Soft desert stars and the strum of guitars makes every evening seem so sweet.
In my adobe hacienda,
complete.
When setting sun says the long day's done, sweet music seems to fill the air
in my adobe hacienda. Harmony is everywhere.
Time now for another Western story told by Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage. The title of today's adventure, One Man's Poison. If there's one place in the world where absolutely anything can happen, it's the West. There in that land of vast plains and rugged mountains, men experience everything that life has to offer. Man may not have a peso in his jeans one day, strike it rich the next, lose his pile in a poker game that night, and be broke again on the third. The Riders of the Purple Sage have had their share of adventures and experiences in the West, many dangerous, many dramatic. And yes, some that were amusing, such as the one we're to hear about now. The boys were in a festive, light-hearted mood that sunny spring morning as they rode into the little western town of Boca Grande to take part in the town's Pioneer Week celebration.
Yes, sir, and then I'm going to get me a silver belt buckle studded with rubies and a shirt with checks on it about the size of Mrs. Flanagan's griddle cakes. And then after that, I'm going to go...
Hey, now, wait a minute there. Just pull up your check rein, boy. Those plans of yours are going to take some high financing. Where are you going to get the money from?
Oh, didn't I tell you? Well, I'm going to win the calf roping event at the rodeo when we get into Boca Grande.
Well, there's going to be a lot of top hands trying for that prize money, Al. What makes you so sure you'll win?
Oh, doggone you, boy. I'll bet your idea of a pleasant afternoon would be to go to the circus and stick pins in all the kids' toy balloons.
Okay, Al, I was just kidding you. You'll win by a mile. Hey, Johnny, what are you so quiet about?
Nothing, Foy. I was just thinking.
You mean you was just mooning about that little gal that waits on tables at Mrs. Flanagan's boarding house? That's what you mean?
No, Al, I wasn't doing anything of the kind.
Well, I wouldn't blame you if you was, Johnny. Gladys is a mighty sweet little girl.
She sure is. Gosh, I hope she still works at Mrs. Flanagan's.
Well, boy, if we dawdle along the road like this, you'll be all day finding out. Come on, fellas, let's get moving. Get up there.
Where's the saints for service if it ain't Foy and Al and Johnny? Come in, boys.
Hello, Miss Flanagan. It's good to see you.
Hi there, Mrs. Flanagan, and sure and how's the fellas Colleen this side of the Emerald Isle?
Ah, go along with you. You and your Blarney now.
Say, Mrs. Flanagan, I was wondering if, well, that is, if Gladys still worked here.
Oh, were you now? Well, Johnny, lad, you can stop your wondering, 'cause that she does. And if you'd care to step back to the kitchen, I wouldn't wonder but what you might give her a bit of a surprise.
Gee, thanks, Mrs. Flanagan. I'll see you later, fellas.
Okay, Johnny. Well, Miss Flanagan, have you got a room for us?
That I have, boy. The same one you had when you were here for Pioneer Week last year. Just up this way. Here you are, boys.
Say, this is swell, Miss Flanagan.
Man, look at that feather bed. I'm sure going to sleep soft in that tonight.
Well, here's your towels in the washstand. Now, dinner's at 12 sharp, and you'd better be on time if you want to get anything.
Don't worry, Miss Flanagan. We know those cowpoke boarders of yours. When they get through riding herd on a platter of hash, there ain't enough left to feed a flea with a puny appetite.
That's sure the truth of it. Well, see you at dinner, boys.
Hello, Gladys.
What? Johnny Paul. Gee, if this ain't a surprise.
Gee, Gladys, you sure are looking healthy.
Oh, you cowboys, you're all alike. trying to turn a girl's head with flattery.
Oh, go on.
Gee, Johnny. How you been, anyway?
Fine, Gladys. How about yourself? Still like the West?
Oh, sure. You know, there's something about the West that gets you. It's so kind of Western.
Yeah, it sure is. Don't you miss New York, though?
Oh, sure. I kind of miss the cultural type things, like the Museum of Modern Art and Grant's Tomb.
Yeah. Gladys, you ever been to see them places?
No, but it's kind of nice having them there handy in case I should ever want to go.
Say, Gladys, I hear they're having a big dance in town tonight.
Yeah, only they call it some Mexican word. I think it's fiasco.
Oh, you mean fiesta, Gladys.
Oh.
It's Spanish for a big celebration.
Gee, this is going to be a big affair, all right. It's on account of the Pioneer Week they're having it.
Say, Gladys, would you, well, that is, could I, take you to the dance?
Gee, Johnny, I'd love to go.
Well.
Oh, gosh. I got the cutest new hat to wear. It's a picture hat with a bunch of grapes, a bouquet of flowers, and a bird of paradise on it.
Golly, it sounds pretty.
Yeah. Well, I always says when you go to buy a hat, you can't go wrong if you get something plain. Look, Johnny, I got to set the table for dinner, but I'll see you when I get my work finished up. Okay?
Sure. I got to go get cleaned up for dinner myself. Gee, Gladys, I'm glad you're going to the dance with me.
Oh, I am, too. Gee, Johnny, you remember the last time we had a date? We strolled out in the moonlight, and you looked in my eyes and stroked my hair. Gosh, your hands were the softest velvet.
Yeah, I know. I forgot to take my mittens off.
Well, Mrs. Flanagan, your skillet hand sure hasn't lost any of its cunning. That's the best chow I've had since we was here last year.
Sure is, Mrs. Flanagan. It sure is.
Well, boys, it does me good to see you eat. Al, how about one more piece of apple pie now?
Oh, no, my thank you. 7's my lucky number, and I'm going to stop on that.
All right, all right. And how about you, Johnny? Sure, you don't seem to be eating too hearty.
No, thanks. I'm full up.
Johnny's appetite ain't normal on account of the love bug bit him.
Al, you cut that out.
All right, Johnny, take it easy. Al was only teasing you.
Well...
Mrs. Flanagan, what's the latest news around here? Still have the same old crop of boarders?
Oh, they come and they go, boy. And speaking frankly, I've got one that I wish would go.
Why? What's wrong with him? Don't he pay his bill?
It ain't a him, it's a her. And she pays her bill all right, but she sure's a lot more trouble than she's worth.
Well, who is she, Mrs. Flanagan?
Oh, she's a widow lady from Ohio, I think. Name of Dinwiddie. Rich as a miser and twice as mean.
Sounds like a real headache, Miss Flanagan.
Oh, she is that, boy. She's one of them, what do you call them? Hypodermics.
Oh, you mean hypochondriac, don't you?
A what?
A hypochondriac, Al. That means a person who's always got the idea he's sick.
That's it, boy. Mrs. Dinwiddie is healthy as a bucking bronco. But to hear her tell it, why, you'd think she was just one jump ahead of the Undertaker. Why, only the other day she was after telling me...
Oh, Mrs. Flanagan, I'm so upset. I've lost my pills.
Which pills, Mrs. Dinwiddie? Red, blue, or yellow?
The green. Oh, whatever could have happened?
Now, calm yourself, Mrs. Dinwiddie. I know where your pills are.
Oh?
Sure, I was cleaning your room, and I didn't want the bottle to get knocked over. So I put it on top of your portable eye and lung.
Oh, well, that certainly is a... Oh, why, Mrs. Flanagan. Well, I do beg your pardon. I didn't know you had company.
Well, now, that's all right, Mrs. Dinwiddie. This is Mr. Foy Willing.
Well, how do you do?
Howdy, ma'am.
This is Mr. Al Sloy.
Oh, Mrs. Sloy. Well, this is a pleasure.
Likewise, ma'am.
Well, now, tell me, who is this great, big, handsome, bashful chap in the background?
Sure, that's Johnny Paul, Mrs. Dinwiddie.
Hello.
Oh, Mrs. Flanagan, isn't he just the best-looking thing you ever saw?
Oh, now, ma'am.
Oh, you know, Mr. Paul, you remind me of someone I know very well. Now, let me see. Who is it? Oh, of course, Dr. Kildare. You aren't by any chance a doctor, are you?
No, ma'am. But I did give some medicine to an old mule once that had the heaves.
Oh, what a delightful sense of humor. You and I simply must get to know each other better. You can... call me Flora.
Oh, that's right. Nice of you, ma'am. You can call me Mr. Paul. Now, if you'll excuse me...
Oh, you mustn't think of leaving. We've got so many things to talk about.
I want to find out all about you. When you had your tonsils out, what hospitals you've been in.
I don't think you'll get much satisfaction out of talking to Johnny, ma'am. As far as I know, he was never sick a day in his life.
Well, how wonderful. Then all my experience will be new to you, Mr. Paul. You know, I'm just crazy about doctors and hospitals.
That's very interesting, ma'am, but I just got to...
Well, in fact, I married my doctor.
Gee, ma'am, your conversation is sure interesting, but I really do have to be getting along.
Oh, no, you don't. Now, I'm going to take you right in the parlor and show you my photograph album.
But, ma'am, I promised Gladys...
Now, come right along. Oh, you'll just love this. I've got the most wonderful collection of pictures you ever saw.
Snapshots, Miss Dinwiddie?
Oh, dear, no. X-rays.
Hey, Foy, let me in, quick.
Oh, hello, Johnny. Come on in.
Quick, Foy, get out of the way and let me get this door locked.
Hey, what's wrong with you, Johnny? You look scared as a horse thief with a posse after him.
It's that woman, fellas, that Mrs. Dinwiddie. You got to get her away from me. You just got to.
What's the matter, Johnny? She a little too much for you?
Oh, brother. She's had me in there for 2 hours talking about her operations. I wouldn't have got away yet, but she went upstairs to give herself a shot for sinus trouble, and I made a dash for it.
Well, don't worry, Johnny. You can stay here in the room till it's time for you and Gladys to go to the dance tonight.
Oh, that's another thing, Foy. That's the worst of all. Mrs. Dinwiddie made me promise to take her to the dance tonight.
Oh, no, you poor sucker.
Oh, Johnny, how'd you ever get yourself in such a mess? Why didn't you tell her you already had a date?
Ooh, you don't know that woman, Foy. It ain't no refusing her once she gets her mind set on a thing.
That's bad.
It's terrible. If I take Mrs. Dinwiddie to the dance, Gladys will never forgive me.
Well, Johnny, it looks like you'll just have to lock yourself up here and let Foy and me tell Mrs. Dinwiddie and Gladys you're sick. Or
yeah, I reckon so.
Say, wait a minute. Let me think. Yeah, I believe it'll work. Boys, I got an idea.
What do you mean, Foy?
Look, fellas, you know how mortal afraid Mrs. Dinwiddie is of getting sick. Yeah. Now, just suppose Johnny here had some real contagious disease. She wouldn't go near him.
But, Foy, I ain't got no disease. You said yourself that I've never been sick a day in my life.
I know, Johnny, but we're going to make it look like you're sick. Now, first of all, we got to ride outside of town into the hills and get some tangleberry weed.
Well, what in tarnation is that?
Well, it's a weed that'll irritate your skin and make it look like you got a rash when you rub it on you. It won't hurt you none, and it goes away in a few minutes. But it sure looks awful at first.
Well, then what do we do?
We rub some of it on Johnny's face and around under his eyes. Then we have him drink a glass of vinegar.
What?
That's right, vinegar. It'll raise your temperature for a short time and make your face flush. Now, when you get to looking real sick, you'll go show yourself to Mrs. Dinwiddie. And unless I miss my guess, you won't have no more trouble with her.
Boy, you're a genius. Come on, boys. Let's head for the hills and scare up some of that tangleberry weed. We've got to build ourselves an invalid.
Here's Al with the vinegar, Johnny.
Here you are, Foy. I got it from Mrs. Flanagan.
Swell. Did you tell her what we're going to do?
Yeah, I didn't want to get her scared when she saw Johnny. And she said she sure hoped it works and that if Mrs. Dinwiddie gets scared enough to pack up and move, she'll cancel her board bill.
Good. Come on, Johnny, drink this down.
Okay, give it to me. That's the sourest stuff I ever put in my mouth.
Well, what were you expecting it to taste like? A marshmallow milkshake or something? Come on, Foy. Let's rub that tangleberry weed all over his face.
Okay. Hold still, Johnny. Now, how does it feel?
Not too bad. It burns a little.
Holy smoke, boy. That stuff sure works fast. Look, his eyes are beginning to puff up already.
Yeah, and the vinegar's beginning to make his face flush, too. Now, look, Johnny, when you show yourself to Miss Dinwiddie, tell her you've got a bad case of cerebral trichinosis.
What the heck's that?
It ain't anything. I just made it up. But it sounds bad, and I figure, along with a good look at that swollen face of yours, it'll scare the wits out of Mrs. Dinwiddie.
Cerebral trichinosis. Cerebral trichinosis. Doggone, I hope I don't forget that. Oh, here's Mrs. Dinwiddie's room. Mrs. Dinwiddie! Oh, Mrs. Dinwiddie!
Yes? Who is it?
It's me, ma'am, Johnny. I come to take you to the dance.
Oh, you dear boy. Well, I'm all ready. I'm sure that we're going to... Oh!
Why, ma'am, what's wrong?
Your face. Look at it. It's all red and swollen. Oh, stand back. Keep away from me.
Now, ma'am, don't get excited. It ain't nothing but a bad case of cerebral trichinosis. Highly contagious.
Oh, this is awful. Mrs. Flanagan! Mrs. Flanagan! Thanks for service. What's wrong now?
What's the matter, Miss Dinwiddie?
Oh, it's this awful creature. Look at him. He's got some horrible disease.
Say, he does look mighty sick at that. Looks like he's got cerebral trichinosis or something or other.
That's just what it is. Mrs. Flanagan, you must quarantine this house at once.
Oh, indeed I must, Mrs. Dinwiddie. This very minute. But, what are you going to do now?
What am I going to do? I'm going to pack my bags and catch the first train back to the Mayo Brothers Clinic. Goodbye.
Boy, I've got to hand it to you. Your plan sure worked. Mrs. Dinwiddie was packed up and out of the house before you could say cerebral trichinosis.
She sure was, Al. Well, Johnny's face should be normal by now, and he'll probably be showing up here at the dance any minute with Gladys. Hey, look, coming in the door.
Where? Oh, why, yes, it's Gladys. But Johnny isn't with her. That's funny.
Yeah. Look, she sees us. She's coming over here.
Hi, Gladys. Where's Johnny?
Oh, that dumb church. Oh!
Hey, simmer down there, gal. What's wrong?
Oh, I'm so mad I could spit rivets. I get one day a year with the big girl, and he has to go and get sick.
Oh, Gladys, you've got it all wrong. Johnny ain't really sick. Why, we just cooked that up to get rid of Mrs. Dinwiddie.
I know. Johnny told me all about it. Cerebral trichinosis yet.
But, Gladys, I don't get it.
I know you don't, but Johnny did. When he went out in the hills to get that tangleberry weed today, he picked up the worst case of poison ivy I ever saw in my life.
Life in the Old West was full of excitement. The men and their women folks who ran the great cattle ranches expected trouble at all hours of the day or night. Wild livestock, cattle rustling, Indians, and other desperados kept their lives keyed to meeting emergencies. But frontier life had its monotony, its routine, too. And the smart ranch wife knew how good food could pep a man up when his spirit grew dull. Just like the smart housewife today uses Weber's bread at her table because she knows that Weber's bread is that backbone of every meal. It's always tasty, always fresh and soft, and so good it makes other foods taste better, too. Buy a loaf of Weber's bread tomorrow in the blue and white gingham wrapper. See how much Weber's bread can add to the enjoyment of a meal.
It's time once again for our featured song of the week. The Riders of the Purple Sage have chosen to sing for you Trail to Mexico.
Made up my mind in the early morn to leave my home where I was born, to leave my native home a while and travel west for many a mile. 'Twas in the spring time of the year you came to me and said, my dear, don't leave your home, oh please don't go, don't ride the trail into Mexico.
Oh, take your gold and your silver too, and take the girl who won't prove true.
I'm going down to the Rio Grande and ride the trail with a cowboy band. I'm on the trail into Mexico, where the bullets fly. I'm bound to go. I'll leave my native home a while and travel west for many a mile.
Thank you, friends. Before we go, we'd like to thank Martha Wentworth, Gloria Blondell, and Lois Corbett for their good work in helping us tell our story. This is Foy Willing speaking for all of the writers of the Purple Sage, saying so long and good luck to all of you.
Drifting along, singing a song under a western moon.
From Hollywood, you've heard your all-star Western Theater, a V.M. Bear production starring Foy Willing and the Riders of the Purple Sage. The script was by Tom Adair, direction by Scott Farnworth. This is Terry O'Sullivan speaking.
The All-Star Western Theater was recorded earlier and came to you from Columbia Square.
This is KNX in Los Angeles.
Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe.